So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. This is Matthew Bailey alongside my critique and partner in crime, Ricardo Medina.
Hello, 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 everyone.
And this is another episode of Beers, Beats, and Bailey. So, we have quite a lot to talk about, actually. Quite a
Yeah,
lot.
there's
And
a lot
the
of
funny
news.
thing is that you actually got me, like, right nearing the end of my recap of season 6 of Game of Thrones, because yes,
Right.
folks, at the time of this recording, season 7 is gonna officially premiere tonight at HBO.
Right.
But I just figured I'd take the day off, because I mean it's nice and sunny and warm outside. But I was like, you know what, last week was just all hectic and stuff. Let me just recap, all the good moments of Game of Thrones. So that's
Right.
what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Right. And on the subject of HBO, I'm going to talk about a 4-part miniseries which came out, I believe, last week at the time of this recording.
Right.
It's a documentary called The Defiant Ones. It's all about, it focuses on two major players in the music industry today, Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre.
Right.
Yeah, and also, from there we're gonna jump into a movie that I've been meaning to check out for the longest while, and both of us finally got the chance to check it out. It's a French-Belgian horror film / coming of age drama, if you will, called
Yeah.
Raw.
Right.
Yeah, and boy, we have
Well,
we have some stuff to talk
horror-
about. That was a
horror is
pretty
a-
interesting. Yeah,
Horror is sketchy.
I know. Yeah,
But yeah, I get-
if you want to fit it in a genre, let's call it a
yeah,
horror.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. If it to fit in a genre, it'll probably have to be horror.
Yeah.
Right. That's the
Right.
problem, because I was like, yeah, it's not that thick. Whatever. we'll
I
talk
know.
about-
I was thinking the
Yeah.
same thing actually.
Right.
And after that, from there, we are going to talk about a movie that we were excited for from the word go.
Right.
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Yes, folks, we finally got the chance to see it, so we'll
Yeah.
share our thoughts on that. And before that, we're actually going to run through
The franchise.
the franchise itself, because
Yeah.
this is actually a pretty amazing franchise, and
Yeah.
just where it's at right now is just wow.
Right.
That's all I have to say. I don't want to spoil anything.
Cool.
Right, so some news that
News
took
to
place.
start.
Yeah,
Well, very unfortunate news to start off with, and slightly related to one of the movies we're reviewing.
yeah.
The just found out at the time of this recording. This is I just found out about 20 minutes ago. The passing of George A. Romero,
Yeah.
great horror director.
Like before we even started recording, Ricardo just dropped that bomb on me, and I was just stunned I just could not believe it.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I mean, George A. Romero is an icon when it comes to horror films. He pretty much revolutionized, if you will, the zombie genre. He made it all. He brought the visceral aspect of it into
Right.
his films. Night of the
Yeah.
Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and the criminally underrated Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
And they were the follow-ups that he did after that. The other of the Dead's film that he made, like in the 2000s, I think there was Land of the Dead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those don't really hold out that much, to be honest, but at least it catered to that fan base that that developed ever since Night of the Living Dead came out in 1968. And even if you weren't born then, its influence still, the influence of that film, still lingered on with new viewers as well, and it helped influence many other horror films. I mean, look at, the remake of Dawn of the Dead, for one thing, The Walking Dead, for example. That is
Yeah.
a perfect homage to it, even though oddly enough, George A. Romero doesn't really care for The Walking Dead, really, because it doesn't have that social commentary aspect that his
Right, his films
Dead
had,
trilogy had. There's always
Yeah.
something about politics, about race, and in particular, Dawn of the Dead back in 1978 was all about consumerism, and just all these different things. It's just how he was able to take the genre of horror, something
Right.
as gross and disgusting as a corpse resurrected from the dead and eating human flesh,
Right.
and turn it into a way to kind of show the ugliness of the world, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always had little implications of things like consumerism and all these little subtext stuff that zombies tend to bring up.
Exactly.
Like, what does
yeah.
zombies mean exactly? And somebody will write in a 1600 word essay, and 10 people will read it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and also, to before I forget, there were some smaller films that he made in between, those zombie films. There was one in particular that I saw about a few months ago, actually, called Martin. It's actually about a boy who Well, the film kind of plays on the fact that he believes he's a vampire, but he kind of moves around like he is, like he thinks he's one. So he
Right.
kind of has this kind of vampire mannerisms, and it's that kind of commentary, if you will, on, I guess, sexual addiction or sexual disease or whatever it is. I think it's something
Okay.
along that line. And then there was
No,
one
yeah, well,
about the crazies
vampires
and,
was always kind of code for gay. That's always the kind of the running.
I
running
I
kind of
always saw it
narrative.
as just like
Or-
STDs though, like, you know.
Right. Well, yeah, right. It's that and promiscuity.
Right. Yes.
Right. Yeah,
And there was
just-
another
just-
one. It was but more a thriller than a horror. It's called The Crazies. I
Right,
believe it was
yeah.
about like this kind of this group of like terrorists. Like the you see thing is like I haven't seen it in a long while, so I know there's a horror element in it, but it's just about these kind of weird kind of cult of terrorists basically just attacking a small town.
Yeah.
And on the subject of that, Arrow Video, which is a DVD home media distribution company that I discovered last year. I ended up
Yeah.
buying Donnie Darko, which he actually released this year. This is a group this is a company actually that pretty much centers on cult films, and they had this announcement last week that they were going to re-release 3 of Romero's films that he made between Night and Dawn of the Dead. So it's called Between Night and Dawn. And one of
Right.
those movies is The Crazies. So, you
Right.
know, just hearing about his death now I actually want to see those
Yeah.
films. 'Cause I mean, The Crazies, I actually saw the remake of it. There was a remake of it, by the way.
Right.
Can't remember anything about it, but I really would love to see those old films, you know what I mean? And I think people
Yeah.
who call themselves Romero fans should check them out as well, you know?
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, really and truly, he's truly a great horror master.
It is.
Yeah,
He is, sorry, yeah.
yeah. His career, if I remember correctly, his career kind of waned in the 90s a little bit, but he still holds up well. And then, Zack Snyder pick up his franchise to bring it back to a new generation.
Of course, yeah.
and
And who could forget 20 Days Later, that more or less
Right.
revitalized the
Modern
zombie
zombie
genre.
paradigm.
And of course Shaun of the Dead, that pays
Right.
direct homage actually to
Dawn of the Dead,
Dawn of
yeah.
the Dead actually, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So,
Yeah, boy,
guys,
Georgie Romero, you will be
yeah,
lost,
you'll be
man.
missed.
Your legacy will live on, you know.
Yeah.
With this new season of Walking Dead coming up, season 8.
Yeah, they gotta
I
do
hope
something.
that they do like a rest in peace to Georgie
Right.
Romero, even though, like I said, he never really cared for the series, but they
Right.
had to do some kind of shout out. You know what I mean? They just
Right.
had to, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
right.
So
well,
in lighter news now.
yeah, slightly lighter news. Apparently over this weekend, Comic-Con is coming up, but before Comic-Con, you have Disney has their own internal kind of show running just to show all the stuff they're coming out with.
Yes,
And
the
it's
D23 Expo.
Yeah, the D23 Expo. There's a bunch of great stuff that comes out. So I'm just gonna run through a quick list of all the shit that Disney gonna put out.
Sure.
Yeah, basically it's Aladdin live action. So all the live action stuff.
Yeah.
Aladdin.
Not so excited by it, but I heard just quite recently that Will Smith was
That is the thing is the
sign on.
two main stars have no problem with. I think it's Mena Massoud is the guy's name.
Uh-huh.
And I know Naomi Scott playing Jasmine. When I heard that, I was like, all right, that's fine. But then Will Smith as the genie. Yeah.
So I mean, you gotta do some kind of rapping, right? Because
some bullshit.
singing,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I ain't feeling that. But whatever, he's a big name, so it's not. The choice is not that big of a surprise.
Right.
Another show coming out that looking interesting. It's A Wrinkle in Time.
Yes, I
this
saw
was
the
okay.
trailer for it. The trailer
Yeah.
looks incredible.
It looks
They
cool.
had me at Oprah Winfrey though. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like, okay. And
okay,
it kind of remind me of like a kind of new Tomorrowland almost, but more fantasy.
yeah.
But it reminds you of that. It's kind of the same vein kind of thing. Not sure what the plot is exactly, but it really feels like a lot like that.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the Euromythic Sweet Dreams cover that they
Right,
have
yeah.
for this trailer was spot on. I loved how
Yeah.
they used it in this particular trailer.
Right. That
Yeah.
looks a lot of fun. Dumbo coming out. Not
Alright,
sure what they're going to do with it.
That I
But
didn't know.
right. Dumbo coming out. They
Live,
show a little model
live
fit.
action, right?
You're right. Well,
Yeah.
CG something. I'm sure what they're going to do with it.
That's
Right.
not like another Pete's Dragon, but then again,
Right.
Pete's
Well,
Dragon compared to Dumbo, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Then Lion King that
Mhm.
coming out, so we know that was coming out. We know that Hugh Jackman is playing the villain. That's
Scar.
Scar. My thing is that Jeremy Allen's still alive, So what the hell? Whatever.
Yeah. So it's we always say Jeremy as that's about the villain, but sorry,
Well,
the character name, but whatever.
Whatever. Mary Poppins. right? So that's coming out. I was hearing about that.
All right, that I didn't hear of actually.
Right. Then Mulan got pushed back from what I understand. The Nutcracker got pushed back as well from what I understand. So those two coming out as well. So that's the last of the live action stuff.
Right.
Marvel, of course, Avengers Infinity War, they showed the trailer for everyone, but it didn't leak on the internet or anything like that.
No, but there was this one video where this guy pretty much described what happened. And
right,
then when I heard
everybody,
the first little bit of it, I was like, no, I want to see it for myself.
A lot of people had their own little description videos and description stuff. So that was there. And then Mark Ruffalo officially says that there is no plans to make a standalone Hulk movie.
A standalone Hulk film. Nope, sorry.
But I think we always kind of knew that. I know, I think it's who owned Hulk in the movie franchise. I think Fox or somebody. I forget who owned it. But basically,
well, Marvel Studios. Well, since the right before the Avengers. Remember, there was the Incredible Hulk. So it doesn't make any sense to do.
No, but I heard
another standalone movie, I guess.
No, I heard there's some drama involving that. Like I know Marvel can't make it other than that Incredible Hulk film. They can't make another one. It's a legal thing.
Okay.
From what I understand, that's why he showed up as part of Thor movie now.
Right. Nothing
says that he can't be in somebody else's movie, but
right.
Then Star Wars. Last year, a bunch of a behind the scenes video came out.
Yeah, which looked pretty cool. I didn't tear, but just seeing Carrie Fisher on screen, and especially in the end when she says about family, that really hit my boy. That hit me deep, boy. Yeah. Right,
and then a bunch of really, in my opinion, pretty impressive posters. I love a bunch of great posters, all the characters.
Yes, all of them decked out in red and stuff. That was
and this really kind of red garb for some reason. So it's Finn, Rey, Leia, Luke, Kylo, and Poe, and it looks cool. I mean, all of those posters look kick-ass to me. It kind of remind me of little memories of Matrix Reloaded a little bit, because it kind of remind me of Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, you mean with everybody dressed in black and that kind of
stuff? All these weird, these cool kind of series posters they ran through.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, well, probably the most exciting news for me personally.
Same here too, if you're thinking what I'm thinking.
Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2, yes.
Incredibles 2, yes.
People got to see an exclusive clip of it.
Right. So they showed something online, which is Ethno Mode kind of mock documentary kind of ad on her based on Ethno Mode. So they have all these real world.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up. There's all these real world. It's like a little short trailer, but funny. It's like a little joke.
I heard about that. I think they reference Kylie Jenner in it. I think,
so there's a bunch of fashionista types and what's your name? Heidi Klum and all of those big fashionista people talking about Ethno Mode as it's the greatest, fashion design ever. Right, that's the joke.
I always love the characters, snap yourself out of this kind of thing.
Hard.
You are a man.
Yeah. Other stuff is Olaf, apparently the Olaf character getting something.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Coco, a show coming out. It's a Mexican kind of something going on.
I saw the poster for it. I think there's a trailer out, but I just didn't.
I think I saw a trailer. I was not that impressed, but it might be cool, and it looking like stylistically looking really good. But again, this narrative itself not really pulling me in so far.
Right. And another thing, to me, the second big piece of news, Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Wreck-It Ralph 2, yeah. Looks great.
Where it is, Ralph broke the internet, I believe it's called. Something along that line.
Right, but basically, the implication is that they kind of go in full Kingdom Hearts with this one. So everything going to get mix up, not just video games, but apparently Disney Princess is going to be in it.
Yes.
All kind of extra shit.
I read up of this one clip that they show where Penelope, I think that's her character, ends up meeting all of the Disney princesses, right down to down to Moana,
Moana and Leia.
Appearance last year in her film, that's really cool. Yeah.
Right. Toy Story 4 is announced.
Okay, didn't hear about that actually. Yeah.
Right, that announced. John Cooley is the director. Then, something I think 2 other movies. I don't think they're titled yet, but it's basically something along the lines of a suburban film, some kind of suburban fantasy film, and something along the lines of a space adventure film, a second movie. That's it for D23. Most of the stuff was impressive. I'm still waiting for Comic-Con to sort itself out. So that's where you'll get to see stuff. More likely, we'll get to see some Black Panther footage and extra. Not really extra trailer, but just little footage and extra stuff. A lot of Black Panther stuff came out as well. You can see a bunch of pictures from that. And that's just the general news for that. The Incredibles, the big thing with the Incredibles, just to go back to that for a sec, is they going against the running narrative that a lot of people expected. Because apparently this film is going to be taken off almost immediately after the end of the first film.
Yes.
Which is surprising because a lot of people thought, we're going to get a big time jump and basically going to be roughly the same time as well in real time. So
Because it's
2004.
roughly like what 14 years since.
Yeah, about
yeah.
about 13, 14 years had passed. So I
Yeah.
thought, well, they're gonna do 13 to 14 years. Jack gonna be a 13-year-old by now. We're gonna get something with that. But
No, well, at
apparently,
least you'll get a cool scene with that. Where it is the mole man or whatever his name was from
The
the very
Underminer.
end. The Underminer. Yes.
The Underminer,
I still love that name, by the way. I am
Yeah.
the Underminer. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting change. I don't know what they're gonna do with the script. Brad Bird is a smart dude, so
Of course, yeah.
whatever.
But-
I really hope we don't get Finding Dory.
Oh, Finding Dory, where it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
Could have
mediocre,
come out
forgettable
years ago. Could
sequel.
have been way better. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, at worst case scenario, it's a cast too. So I hope we really don't get that.
God forbid if we get a cast too.
Yeah, that'll be some bullshit.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much that.
Right. Another piece of news that came out today actually.
Right.
We finally getting our first female Doctor Who after
Yes.
so much years since Doctor Who started in 1964. We're finally gonna get a female Doctor Who
Right,
played
a
by
female
Jodie
Doctor.
Whittaker. I never heard
Yeah.
of her before, but
Yeah, she
you know,
was in Attack the Block, I think.
Oh really? Okay, I haven't
Yeah,
seen
she
Attack
was
the
in
Block in a
that,
long while. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is great news for me. I would love to see how they tackle that. I wonder if we're gonna get a male companion as a result.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably. I mean, it would make things pretty interesting. You know.
Right. So
Yeah,
well,
but
we could
this,
just
is, this is like a breath. Sorry, this is like a breath of fresh air after so much years. You know, even right down
Right.
to when it rebooted back in like the 2000s. You know.
Right. So yeah, and that guy, Chris Eccleston, he's my personal favorite out of all the Doctors.
Yeah,
For me,
I liked him, but I don't know. I have a thing for
Tenet.
For Tennant, yeah. No,
Yeah,
sorry,
Tenet.
not
Yeah, Tenet
Tennant,
update.
sorry. Matt Smith.
Right.
Yeah, something
Okay.
about Matt Smith though
Right.
always caught. There's something about his charisma,
Right.
something about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is exciting news. It's kind of long overdue. This should have happened years ago. So whatever.
Yeah.
Wait out.
Oh yeah, something quickly that I think we should just kind of run through quickly. Emmy nominees that came out last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Just gonna
So-
run through them kind of quickly, just the ones
Right.
that
But the big
shows
news
we
about
reviewed,
that-
actually.
Well, speaking of Chris Eccleston, I was now mentioning him. Leftovers get snubbed.
Yeah, well, like,
Yeah,
I'm looking
real
at the list
brutal.
right now. I'm like, geez,
Real
man.
brutal.
I mean, I'm
Like,
glad to
it's like-
see. Well, I'm
No,
glad
the
to see.
thing is-
Well, continue. Sorry.
No, the thing is, I'm not that surprised, frankly. Stuff like that is kind of happening that way. But I was shocked at how badly it was snubbed. Now, Carrie Coon was nominated,
Right.
but she got nominated for Fargo, not this, which is shocking. A lot of people say no, she should get nominated for this instead, and whatever. That's a back and forth. Handmaiden got a lot of nominees. Not surprised there.
Not surprised.
But I really shocked at the snubbing of Leftovers. That was really shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Better Call Saul. Glad to see it's
Right.
there. Not surprised, of course. House
No
of
surprise.
Cards. I haven't seen season 5 yet. Not
no
surprised.
surprise.
Stranger Things, of course.
Right.
Westworld, surprise, of course. Actually, for
Right.
comedy series Atlanta. Although
Right.
I know you might get mad at me, but I kind of rooted for Master of None. I mean, this season 2 that we got here
Right.
this year was so fantastic.
Okay, no problem.
It was the best
No,
actress.
I
Viola
was
Davis
watching.
again.
I didn't finish it. But I was,
Oh,
I
you
was
didn't?
watching some of it, and it was great. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Please tell me that you loved that the first episode, that black and white thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. On point, right. So, best actress, Viola Davis, of course.
Right.
I'd be glad if she wins again, but she's going up against Kerry Russell again, Robin Wright again. And I see
for real,
Evan Rachel Wood for Westwood actually got nominated. Wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with that.
Yeah, best actor for drama, Anthony Hopkins for Westworld, excellent.
Right.
Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, excellent.
Of
Kevin Spacey, duh. Best comedy actor, Aziz Ansari, rooting for him. Donald Glover, if he wins, yeah, props to
Yeah.
him. Best comedy actress, let's see, Jane Fonda, okay, was in Grease, and Frankie, didn't know that. Julia Louis Dreyfus for Veep.
Louis Drivers, yeah.
Yeah, Louis Dreyfus.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, they have something called Best Limited Series. Okay, so the Night Of is boom. So that's something to root for.
Yeah, boom. That shit was
Limited
hard.
Series actor Riz Ahmed for the Night Of. All right.
Yeah, he was
boom.
hard. He was real hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
we
was real hard.
both
That was a
enjoyed
hard
show.
season.
It was.
But that make we top with last year, yeah.
It did. Well, it did
Yeah.
yours. I try to remember if it did for me.
Right.
I think it was close.
Right.
Right. Best Limited Series actress. I see Fargo got nominated. Still
Right.
haven't got around to watching Fargo. Shame on me, I know. Best supporting actor in a drama series, John Lithgow for The Crown. Okay.
Right.
Jonathan Banks, boom, for Better Call Saul as Mike. Yeah, I
Right.
also like. I thought that that character was always so fantastic. Jeffrey Wright for Westworld. Well
Right.
done.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. Best supporting actress. Okay, we have two for The Handmaid's Tale. Ann
And
Dowd,
yeah,
and Samira Wiley. Boom, that we're talking about.
yeah.
And oh
And that's
gosh,
what I said.
man.
Everybody from Leftovers in other shows getting through,
Yeah,
but not Leftovers itself.
I know, right?
And she was real hard. But Ando only had one episode in season 3, one big episode in season 3 with
Right.
her, and she was great in that episode. I was like, yeah, she could get a little something for this too.
Okay.
But nah.
Yeah.
But as her character in Handmaiden, not surprised. Yeah, she actually really stood out in that. Really just goddamn just menacing and disturbing.
Yeah. And oh gosh, man. Remember I was rooting for Daniel Brooks to get nominated for Orange and New Black. Once again, it's Uzo Aduba.
Okay.
Once again.
Right. Okay.
Not to say like I hate Crazy Eyes. I mean, she was what she was in season 5, but I felt that Tasties, or the character of Tasty, just stood out so much for me.
Stepped up, right.
However, Millie Bobby Brown, that standout character from from Stranger Things, she got a nomination. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins.
And I call it though. They're probably gonna get her for young Leia. Movie.
Okay.
I mean, no, she's look like Leia. She's look like her.
I'm sorry, maybe it's because I was focusing on the shaved head. Maybe that's why I don't really take any face that much.
I'm telling you, she's look the part.
Yeah.
I could easily see her becoming
a young Leia one day.
Yeah, in a casting for some movie, some shit. Yeah.
And hey, Tandy Newton for Westworld. Well done. I thought that she delivered. Yeah,
not surprised.
She was great in that.
She's pretty good in that.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Reality competition, don't really care. TV movie, don't really care for that.
Okay.
Reality programs, bullshit.
Not the bullshit. Don't care.
Yeah. Directing for a comedy series, Donald Glover, Atlanta. Yeah.
Right.
Mike Judge for Silicon Valley, which is a show that I seriously need to start watching.
I got fed up of it. I got fed up of it.
Oh, they've been getting a lot of praise. So I think this particular season got a lot of praise.
Because the thing is, Mike Judge is excellent at talking about corporate pathology. So, I mean, he's doing the shit for what? Better part of 30 years now.
Of course,
Since Office Space, since them days, he always understood American corporate pathology, and he does it in the modern sense really, really well. But I just couldn't get into the show as much as other people. I don't know.
All right, well, understand.
Yeah, but it's not a bad show. I'm not like saying it. I'll probably go back and get back to it, but I don't know. I just couldn't get into it.
I'll probably give it a look when I get a chance. Best directed for a drama series, my boy Vince Gilligan for Better Call Saul.
Of course.
Reed Morano and Kate Dennis for Handmaid's Tale, different episodes. Right. The Duffer Brothers for Stranger Things, nice.
Right.
And of course, brother of Christopher Nolan, Jonathan Nolan for Westworld. Yeah, well done.
Right, not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that was falling. It's just Leftovers is the only thing that the big snubbins.
Yeah. Let's just run through a couple more and then we'll just jump to like actual legit reviews. So best writer for comedy series, Donald Glover and Stephen Glover for Atlanta.
That will probably win.
Yeah. Aziz Ansari
I didn't know. I really didn't know that Donald Glover brother was so goddamn talented at writing. But yeah,
even though he had a brother.
Right, for real. But Donald always could have write too, but I don't know the brother could have write so good. The brother is an excellent judge, and he could probably genuinely win for that.
Yeah. Aziz Ansari and Lena Waite for Mass of None.
They could probably win.
Yeah, they could probably win, but either Donald or Stephen. It's a shame that they didn't get well, it's not both of them together again nominated. It's for separate episodes, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so a couple more things. Character, voiceover, performance for like animation. Kevin Kline for Bob's Burgers. Didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, I'm fish shoulder.
Okay, that you think I haven't seen Bob's Burgers and I haven't seen the latest episodes of Bob's Burgers.
It's a show. I haven't picked up with it in a while, but it's a show I binge a lot. So, but it's a show I totally love.
I really should do that. Yeah. Seth MacFarlane, of course, for Family Guy. Duh.
Right.
Nancy Cartwright, of course, for The Simpsons. Duh.
Right.
Best animated program. I remember spotting this. Archer, which is funny because I kind of find that Dreamland was kind of like I saw what it was trying to do, but I kind of hated the ending. I didn't care for it as much as well. Yeah, they just kind of ended off like
it fell flat for me.
It just fell flat. Like I thought it would have. Anyway, but that would be a whole other review. But never mind. Bob's Burgers, okay, all right. I guess I really need to get back to watching that. The Simpsons, yeah. South Park, okay, which I thought that the last season was pretty interesting, pretty daring as well.
Right, but underwhelming overall, I find.
Kind of, yeah, with this
Right.
whole thing with the trolls and
Yeah.
yeah, they could have done
So
so much more with
I still consider season 18 the best in a long time.
that. Remind me, that was the one where they built the supermarket or something. So
Yeah.
something along that line. But I remember there was
that's
this one particular episode that just blew me away in that.
shitty part of town.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think it's that. I don't think it's that one. No, it's not that one. That is the season. It's the season before that. That season 19 was good. That is where basically
Right,
they
that's
get into
season 19, yes, right.
Season 19 is where they get into political correctness and making fun of all of that stuff. But
yes.
I thought season 18 was just had so many good goddamn episodes in it. And
was that the one with the nostalgia thing?
We didn't know where the ads.
The ads.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Oh,
No,
yes. The internet ads. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yes. That was goddamn excellent. Yes, it was.
Right, but no, that was also season 19. I'm talking about that conference.
Okay.
Season 18 is where they do the whole. Was the story boy? Where they do the whole. They have an episode called Cock Magic. The episode.
Yes.
Goddamn fun.
I remember that. Yes.
Like for me, season 18 was real hard.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever. Go ahead.
Right. So now, well, that's pretty much about it. There's like tons and tons of categories here. So I really don't need to run through all of this. But whenever the Emmys come around, I think it's in September. I think it is.
Right.
Meetings. I'll give it a look and root for some people.
Leftovers fans just so salty over that though.
Yeah, boy.
So salty.
Give Leftovers some love, no?
And I just check on the subreddit and you just see it, fuck the Emmys, man, and just a bunch of threads. I'm like, all right, well, tough.
Yeah, boy.
What else? All right, so reviews.
Yeah. So first off, I will jump into a 4-part HBO miniseries called The Defiant Ones. And just right off the bat, the main reason why I want to see it is because you have two major players in terms of the music industry. Jimmy Iovine, who I think he is the former owner of, I know he's the founder, like one of the founders of Interscope Records.
Right.
If it wasn't for them, if it was for Interscope Records, actually, you would not have gotten acts like Eminem, Marilyn Manson, 9 Inch Nails, even right down to Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. They signed on to them through Death Row Records, and I'll bring up Death Row Records in a bit. And on the subject of Dr. Dre, yes, Dr. Dre is one of the two main focuses on this in this miniseries here. So essentially, what we get is just like a history lesson into their lives, where they came from, where both Dr. Dre and Jimmy came from, where they were born, their introductions into music, how they got into the music biz, and just pretty much surviving through the ups and downs over the decades that they were just in this whole music biz. And what I like here, well, just to jump into the review one time, I like how it goes back and forth between these two individuals. So we do see Dr. Dre's come up. We see where he was born and stuff. And if you have seen Straight Outta Compton, you should be familiar with a majority of this stuff. So yes, they touch into him growing up in Compton, and him being introduced to music. And this was around the time when electro music was getting big. And, he tried his way. Well, he had there was a little stint that he did with this group that was called the World Class Wrecking Crew that didn't really work out that well. And then he just started dabbling DJing. So he got through in this club, and people were just amazed by what he was doing. And then from there it was like, well, you know what, they would just start a group, and of course that's where NWA started from. But I never knew anything about Jimmy Iovine. I just always knew him as just as this, well, pretty much a guy who runs Interscope. So yeah, so we see Jimmy's come up. We see when he was born, actually. So he's Italian American, which I didn't know. I just thought he was just a normal Caucasian, but anyway. So he was born in New York, and then what happens? He was always involved in music, and just because he was so deep into music, he just didn't really used to care for school and stuff. And then he ended up working in this recording studio, and then he had the opportunity to actually do engineering work for an album by John Lennon of all people, and that just got a lot of attention from a lot of a lot of musicians and stuff. So he started to work with a number of rock acts during the 70s. So case in point, he actually worked with Bruce Springsteen on a particular album. I'm not familiar with those albums, or maybe one or two singles I may know of. But that's where he really got his start from. And just if you, in case you're wondering how these two met, is that this was around the time when Dr. Dre was going through his whole drama with NWA, and then he decided, you know what, let me just start fresh, let me just do this new album, which of course was The Chronic back in 92. And he was just like shopping this around in different states. Well, him and Snoop Dogg just going into different states and just shopping around this album because they wanted a legit record company, I should say, a label to release this album. And
Right.
well, this is before he ran into, well, this was around the time when he did sign on with Death Row and Suge Knight, right?
Okay.
So he was shopping around the album itself, and people were like, well, we can't play this, it's about gangster rap and all that kind of stuff. So Jimmy ended up hearing this album, and he was just so amazed by the clean production in it. Like, he was just so amazed by the, just how texture the music was, and he was amazed to hear that Dr. Dre did all that. He produced and engineered the entirety of the album. And that's where their relationship pretty much started off. The album was released, so pretty much Death Row was a part of Interscope at the time. And the album was released, it was a major hit, a classic. Still my favorite Dr. Dre album of all time, in my opinion. And then, of course, Snoop Dogg came out a year later with Doggy Style, which was a massive hit. And what else? And then they actually, this is something I didn't even know, because quite recently I watched All Eyes on Me, which was about Tupac. I did not know that they helped out in posting bail for the man to get out of jail. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that Jimmy had a part to play in that. I thought it was all Suge and just them wanting him to be in his label now to put out albums and stuff. But I didn't know Jimmy had a part to play with that. Well, him and the other higher ups in that company at the time. Tupac came on, and of course he brought out All Eyes on Me, which was a smash hit as well. And then there's this moment where Jimmy is dealing with the whole gangster rap mentality, where it's like all these guys coming through and starting trouble, even right down to Suge Knight. And you know those stuff like what you saw in Straight Outta Compton with him or some other fella beating up a fella in like a recording studio, like the recording booth. That like actually did happen though. I was so surprised. I thought that was like fabricated for the movie. It's like, no, that literally did happen. Like, wow, okay. But at the same time, it wasn't just about rock. It wasn't just about rap music. The whole goal with Interscope Records was just putting out like edgy music, like music that people, in terms of Jimmy, kind of reflected what the 90s was about.
Right.
It wasn't about just this kind of clean cut, everything is all happy and joy and stuff like that, like how it was like, even back in the 60s or the 50s with that style of music. It was more raw, it was more edgy and stuff like that. So yeah, he signed on 9 Inch Nails. And of course, if you're familiar with 9 Inch Nails music, it's this really dark, kind of grimy, almost horrorcore kind of industrial rock music, well,
Yeah.
metal if you will. And just off of the popularity of that, yeah, they signed on Marilyn Manson. And there's
Right.
this section where they focus on his music. And of course, they talk about, like, if you're familiar with the 90s and his music, all these right-wing Christians talking about, he's bad and he's evil and all these kind of things. Surprisingly, they don't touch on Columbine, because that would have been, they touch on that with Bullet for Columbine, for example, where, if you're familiar with that incident, they blamed Marilyn Manson and his music, his nihilistic music now. And there's this one scene though that really caught me off guard though, where it's a montage basically. It's set to Marilyn Manson's "Beautiful People," which arguably is one of his most popular songs to this date. And it keeps cutting back to like his music and way how people were responding to that, whether it's people in the audience chanting with him, or people just smashing his albums and saying that he's promoting Satanism, all that kind of stuff. And then they just like intercutting that with Tupac of all people.
Right.
and the influence that he had in terms of like gangster rap and stuff like that. Well, him and Suge Knight and Death Row and stuff. And just seeing that was kind of weird to me because like the last thing for a hip hop head like me to be comparing Tupac to is Marilyn Manson, but I do see that comparison what they're trying to do, whereas like this person who's just so fed up and just kind of come and just smashing everything and just showing this kind of ugly side to America basically. Whether it's Tupac with his kind of political really driven kind of music, or whether it's Marilyn Manson's with his sort of nihilistic look at Americana essentially. And just seeing that back and forth thing was pretty interesting. It really did catch me off guard.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of just the overall film itself, I'll say all 4 episodes combined together, it is your standard documentary. Lots of talking heads, but when they're there, and they do give some really great insight into the music business from the 70s go up. You really do learn a lot about how songs are created. Like case in point, there's this scene where you see a young Jimmy actually in the studio where he's working on a song for Bruce Springsteen, and he's talking about how he used to spend like days and hours inside of that studio just trying to get the right sound or the right drum hit, you know what I mean? And it's just them trying to be so perfectionist with what they're doing. But he's getting fed up and he just kind of wants to leave the studio, but the boss is like, we're trying to create something worthwhile. We're trying to create art here, Trent. I just want to leave. Like, dude, just go back there and just make sure you have it correct,
Right.
And it's just that work ethic that goes into making a record, It's the same kind of thing that you see with Dr. Dre. And one thing I love this show for is that you see some exclusive like behind the scenes stuff of like Dr. Dre in the studio at the time when he was doing that Straight Outta Compton album. So
Right.
there's a scene where you see Eazy-E in the studio actually
Right.
recording some rhymes, and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, this is some 1987, 1988 kind of footage now, and you get to
Right.
see that. That's like really amazing. The interviews were great. They were on point. Like I say, you would learn a lot from them. 2 interviews in particular I did not expect, but they just blew me away. First off, the DOC, who was he was part of Dr. Dre's he was part of Ruthless Records at the time. So Dr. Dre produced his first album, and essentially he was like a ghostwriter for Eazy-E, right? And he just always wanted that moment to be on record, and then he brought out his album, which was a hit. And then after that, he got involved in an accident, which pretty much messed up his vocal cords. So when from then till now, he has this like really scratchy voice. It's really messed up the way when he talks now. They kind of hinted it briefly at in the Straight Outta Compton movie,
Right.
but here you see DOC, and like the thing is with me, like I've never seen him interviewed before. I've heard him before on other albums. He was on the Chronic album. If you're familiar with the this skit, the 20 Sack Pyramid, I think it is. This is where Snoop Dogg and DOC was part of this game show.
Right.
Yeah, remember he has
I've
this
not
kind of
heard of it.
scratchy face. He's like, "Oh, get in my weave, get in my $35, go to the motherfuckers for a beat." That's him. That's the DOC, right?
Right.
So just hearing him talk about the events after the accident was heartbreaking actually. Just hearing him talk. And another interview that I did not expect to see, well, in terms of Dr. Dre, was D Barnes, who
Okay.
was she was part of this TV show, essentially like just her interviewing rappers. So
Yeah.
this was around the time when NWA had that nasty breakup. Ice Cube left the group, so it kind of started off with her talking to Ice Cube, and Ice Cube was just kind of dissing out the rest of NWA, kind of calling them out now. So what the episode itself, which I would love to see in its entirety, it starts off with Ice Cube's interview, and then it cuts to a subsequent interview with the other members of NWA who were working on their follow-up album, Niggas for Life, which is still, in my opinion, one of the darkest, most raunchiest, most raw rap albums ever put out. And he also talk about that as well too, how they took this particularly dark direction, and then of course what that just led to the record selling a lot, making a lot of money. And which is funny too, because none of these songs or none of these singles that came out for that album made it to radio. There were a couple of videos for it, of course, but the singles themselves never made it to radio because because radio stations did not want to play it. They felt that they would get in trouble for playing songs with violent lyrics and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so they actually put both interviews together in the same episode, and that just like pissed off Drainer. So there was this party that he went to, and he was just bummed out. He was just angry, and he saw D. And yeah, he beat her up, like really like beat the shit out of her. Yeah. And then of course she sued him and all that kind of stuff there. But just hearing it from her own words was really amazing as well, because I mean she's moved on. There's this one moment where she says she forgives herself for what happened, but just hearing it from her from her was really amazing though. Like I didn't know the full context of the incident, but now hearing it from herself, I was like, wow. And then of course right afterwards you hear Dre himself, because yes, you hear Dre and you hear Jimmy do these they are being interviewed throughout this 4-part miniseries. So his rebuttal is that he done a lot of shit in the past, so he's sorry. He wish he could go back. Well, he knows he can't go back in time to fix these things, but that was during a dark period in his life now. And as a viewer, you could just either accept that and move on or not. You know what I mean? But really and truly is just really showing that at the end of the day, he is human. He has made mistakes. Both him and Jimmy made mistakes, and you see that throughout the entirety of this, whether it's a business deal gone sour or just something personal that they went through in their life, or just a bad decision that they made that they wish they could fix up. They could have rectified back then. But just to round things up, what I really love though is just the progression of their life stories. It pretty much stops at the director who produced and directed this, Alan Hughes. It's pretty much like a 3-year thing. Like it was a 3-year project that this film is based on. So he got to follow both Jimmy and Dre for the most part, for 3 years. So you do see like him in behind the scenes of Straight Outta Compton. There's this one scene where they show that car chase where Dre was driving down this highway fast and the cops was following. And I always thought that was just fabricated too, but that actually did happen. He did say that. It's like it really did happen. He just have this kind of penchant for this fast cars and just driving faster. So
no, that was true.
Yeah, didn't know that, but no, now as you see it. And you see other artists as well. will.i.am is there, P. Diddy is there, and yes, on the subject of P. Diddy, and Nas is there. On the subject of P. Diddy and Nas, they talk about that, of course, that moment that pretty much started the East Coast, West Coast feud, the Source Awards back in 95, where Suge Knight came on and he was like, if you want to be making music without the executive producer being all in the videos, then come on down to Death Row. I know that's where the war started. That's where the beef started. They show all that. And you see how, you hear from Diddy how he felt at the time, it even to the point that he just got so mad, he didn't even want to talk for the rest of the interview. And Nas was like Nas from his words, he's like, well, dude, I just watching this here, and I just thinking, like, it's pretty much like seeing somebody like that spark, and like, it just, you just seen the spark go in there, and I know it just going to explode, but he didn't know it was going to escalate to that, where Tupac ended up dissing him on record, But not just rappers are interviewed as well. We do see Bono from U2, because yes, Jimmy worked with U2 as well. We see Bruce Springsteen, we see Stevie Nicks, who had a romantic relationship with him at the time. And just different artists all through as well. And it's for me though, who I mean, I'm always intrigued and fascinated by the music business. The ins and outs of it. This to me was so entertaining. It was just so rich in information for me. In terms of downsides, I would say that as far as documentary techniques go, it is your standard basic documentaries. You have your talking heads, you have your cutaways, and yes, I do give credit where credit is due. You do see some great behind the scenes stuff. Like in particular, you see some behind the scenes footage of the 8 Nut Budgeting video shoot.
Right.
I thought that was really amazing though, and it looked so clean though. It didn't look like some kind of fuzzy kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you assume because it was shot back in '92, it would look, the quality wouldn't be good, but it looked real clean though. I was really amazed by that. But yeah, but I would say don't go in this expecting some kind of grand, spectacular kind of take on the documentary, genre or the formula itself. It is what it is. It is about these sorry, these two major figures in music, and just the ups and downs that they went through, and of course where they are today, where they pretty much they are a part of Apple. And yes, of course, they talk about the Beats by Dre, the headphones and all that kind of stuff. They even talk about how Dre himself was kind of like headphones. I know, boy, but I'll give it a try because I love music. I love to play around with I love engineering and stuff. So let me see if we could just come through with a pair of headphones where you gain that bass now. You know what I mean? And I'll just stop here for a little bit though. But you were ever big on that whole Beats by Dre headphones? Because
terrible.
I always wanted them, but the price just
no. But that's sad part is classic Apple. All Apple technology that is mediocre technology overpriced.
Yeah.
And it fell right in that sense. I mean, terrible mediocre headphones. Just look up this fella boy. What's his name, boy? MKB HD.
Right.
He's like, you'll tell you how terrible Beats by Dre headphones are. They're totally overpriced, total waste of time, mediocre headphones, whatever.
Yeah, totally overpriced, it's true. And even talk about how they how they had to get everybody on the Interscope roster to be rocking those things. Even right down to athletes as well, to the point that they banned it from the Olympics. Because Beats is not a sponsor of the Olympics, so why these men coming out of airplanes or coming on to, going into hotels rocking these headphones now? Nah, ban that one time, you know what I mean? I thought that's pretty funny. Yes, I forgot to mention too, because you talked about rock and hip-hop. They even touch on pop music, because yes, Interscope was involved in pop music. It helped start the career of Gwen Stefani and No Doubt, who were big in the 90s, of course, with their song Don't Speak, which was just on radio literally every day at the time when that album came out. And Lady Gaga, who I didn't even know was signed on to Interscope, and how her career blew up, from just her being signed on to this label. So just in general, so to me, at the end of the day, this was a pretty decent documentary. What I liked is that it really showed how these two individuals always had an ear for music and always had an eye for business as well too. It's always about sorry, it was always about how they were going to continue their careers, even though they went through a lot of ups and downs. It wasn't easy for both of them, but even at their age, because right now they're in their 50s, they're still finding more and more ways, not just to make money, but just keep doing what they do. You keep doing what they love, which is at the end of the day music. Because the business side of it is exactly that, but at the end of the day is always about putting out music. And what I love about both of them, hence the title, the Defiant Ones, is that they always had this kind of rebelliousness about them. They did not care if say for example with hip hop, they didn't care that people didn't like them cussing on record and all that kind of stuff. Or in terms of Jimmy, they didn't care about this guy like Marilyn Manson, for example, painting all these gross, disgusting kind of full satanic kind of imagery and all that kind of stuff. He just treated all the people in his roster as artists. So he just let them just do what they want to do. And of course, how can I forget the even touch on Eminem, the touch on, when he started off, how Dre and M met for the first time, and of course, when he brought out the Slim Shady and the Marshall Mathers LP, the heap of controversy and praise that both albums, delivered, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is Kim and thing.
Yeah, with Kim and what else, the Way I Am,
Stan.
and just those kind of, Stan in particular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it touches on that, and both of them was just like, we see any raw talent in these individuals, so we are going to give them a platform to do what they want to do, make the music that they want to make. And whether you like Eminem's music or not, whether you like Marilyn Manson's music or not, whether you understand Tupac's music or not, at the end of the day, they are artists and they are just creating art. It's up to you to like it or not. But I was really glad to see things not just from the artist's perspective, but also from the perspective of the people running the show, basically.
Right.
Seeing their decisions, them taking the risks. And at the end of the day, if it wasn't for them taking the risks, music would be kind of stagnant, kind of stale, kind of pathetic, So in a way, that's what they do. They were the innovators. So in short, while it's not the best documentary I've ever seen, it is one of the more better documentaries I've seen in a long while. I love to see documentaries on music, and just seeing this was like a breath of fresh air for me. It was so in-depth, you know what I mean? But if you're expecting something grander, like say on the line of a OJ Made in America, you will be disappointed, But it tells a story. It tells it well enough. I actually kind of I kind of felt inspired at the end of the day. Like, I kind of want to do the things that Dre and Jimmy did, not make the bad decisions, but just stick to this thing that I love doing, which in this case here is film, and see where I could go with that. So I think I rambled on enough. So rating wise, I would give this a strong 3.5 to a light 4 to 5 stars. Definitely check it out. It's on HBO right now. I think if you have HBO on demand, you could see it like instantly. But yeah, if you love all things music, if you love to hear the behind the scenes of your favorite of your favorite songs, your favorite artists and the albums and whatnot, I just want to know what it takes to be a major player in terms of the music industry, then you will enjoy this. If you're not into hip-hop music, or you're just interested in terms of music of the 90s and the 80s and stuff, then give this one a look. If you just don't care for neither person, if you think they help damage the youths of today with their music and the artists, then don't bother to watch this. Right. And as a matter of fact, just go back underneath your rock and just stay there. But for me, I enjoy this, and I highly recommend that you check out the Defiant Ones.
Right. All right. Cool. I didn't get time to see this. I'll go see it as soon as I can. Right now, I'm watching Glow, which is great.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started to watch it yesterday.
Yeah, well, glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, really goddamn funny. Yeah. I don't know the Indian girl from I probably missed when you say the Indian girl from
not Master of None.
Not Master of None, no.
No, because I thought she was from Master of None.
No, gosh, Mr. Robot.
Oh crap! That is her.
Yeah, I was watching.
Wow, I don't know. She wasn't know that. Jeez.
Yeah, for real.
First I see season 2 of Mr. Robot in a long while. Like, I need to watch it over, of course, but then again, season 3 of Mr. Robot is like when, October, I guess.
Yeah, that's a while. Yeah,
we had to wait a long while.
Yeah, I've seen.
All right. So enough of TV. Let's get to actual movies now. So Raw Boy, which was a show that I have been hearing a lot of things about. I hear a couple of people fainted while they were watching it. They were close to vomiting and all them kind of gimmicky stuff, Right.
Okay. So this here's the thing with this movie. It's basically very similar to Elle with Isabel.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
It's very similar to Elle in that sense. And when you learn what's going on, especially that last shot of the movie.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the last shot of the movie. It's very, very similar. About what was going on with the story.
Yeah.
So you want to do a quick...
all right. Well, I had to kind of catch my breath. So you want to just fill us in this briefly?
Right. Okay. So a quick run through of what's going on. So basically, the story is about this girl called Justine. She's brought by her parents to basically what it's something like a vet school.
Yes.
So it's vet college along those lines. So Justine, played by Garance Marie,
Right.
She is, well, it's established very early on that she's a vegetarian.
Yes.
The whole family is. And they make a big deal about not eating meat, avoiding eating meat, that kind of thing. And so it kind of sets the movie up.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie starts where she comes into basically basically a teaching hospital and a vet school at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it's her basically training, and her older sister is already there, played by Ella Rumpf.
Right.
Her older sister is Alexia.
Yes.
And basically you learn what's going on is that she big vegetarian. They start the story where they're basically the equivalent of rush week now.
Yeah. So hazing going on.
Hazing, right. Basically it's rush week. Well, it's you had to go through this, the normal trial stuff.
Yeah, normal humiliation stuff basically. Yeah.
Right. So they had them walking on, doing all of the stuff outside. They ransack the room, normal shit. And then one of the big parts of it is her having to eat I think rabbit liver or rabbit kidneys.
It was rabbit kidneys. Raw rabbit kidneys.
Yes. Right. Raw kidneys. So she eats this, she kind of vomits the whole thing with it. And she started, well, over time, she started not be a vegetarian anymore. But what they do with it, they make it really, really clever. What they do with it is a big inciting incident. So she does kind of a nervous thing. Oh, by the way, she basically looks like Paul Dano's twin sister. Anybody notice that? That is one thing I couldn't help but notice. Yeah, she looks like Paul Dano. She's just so creepy and just just a general loser type now.
Yeah.
Her sister is the upperclassman. So she kind of part of the hazing process as well. She have to go through the whole thing. So she had to eat the rabbit thing because she kind of protests being a vegetarian. She gets into a conversation about vegetarianism and veganism in particular with animal suffering, and the classmates kind of laugh her because she's kind of shocked by that given the profession that they're training to be. Yeah. She's pretty bright, quite intelligent actually.
She is.
In fact, there's a big complaint because a big part of the story is well, I don't know why they bring this in as a side thing, but it's to just show something involved where she is somewhat, I think, caught plagiarizing along the lines of
right. Yeah, it was an exam along that line.
Right.
Yeah,
right, either exam or cheating. It's something I think it's something along the lines of plagiarizing. Right. It's like she had to do a report, and I think the person copied from a report. But the guy, and then her roommate, who's this gay guy, he spend time with her, and they just build up a whole thing. So we didn't say much yet. Here's the thing: if you're gonna see this, I can't say the inciting incident, but we probably have to say spoilers. The inciting incident is that her sister was given a Brazilian wax, right? Because she's a kind of a loser. She have about a body hair where she's supposed to cut, and what happens is that the body wax got stuck on her. Right on the pubes. And so right when it was really, really painful, and she was gonna take some scissors to cut what going on, and she kind of freaked out and kicked the sister in the head, but the sister accidentally sliced off her finger, and she fainted from the whole pain, and so so she had to look for the finger, and when she sat down though, before it's established that she started to eat meat again. But she secretly was eating meat now, and she had a kind of taste for it. Now at this point, I started guessing what I think was going on, and I guessed it right? Because then when she got the finger, she basically started eating the sister's finger.
Yep,
that's
happens.
The big thing. Yeah, that happens. And then the sister woke up and caught her, and so she got sent to the hospital, and then they blamed the dog for it. Right, they had this little German Shepherd. It's later revealed, really sadly, that the dog is put down because of this, because the father says, if they get a taste for human flesh, the animal might attack you or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So they put down the dog, and basically the whole story is this: the sister accidentally causes an accident, and we just kind of selling out the story, sadly with spoilers, but it's implied that some kind of cannibalistic tendencies passed down throughout the family. Through a matrilineal lineage.
Yes.
But because the final shot of the movie is pretty fucked up.
It is.
Yeah,
let me just stop with these spoilers from there.
Yeah, the movie. The thing is, the movie is, again, it's much like with Elle. It's very reminiscent of Elle, where you have this very, very disturbing, aberrant behavior or tendency and it's passed down. That's the whole point. In the case of L, it's psychopathy.
Right.
In the case of this, it's cannibalism. But what they do with it is it makes some sense with what the story is about, because I was like kind of wondering why were they so adamant about not eating meat now, because the vegetarian thing now. And the mother in particular was real aberrant about the whole thing. The mother is kind of the whole point, and then the father with the big reveal at the end. So it's kind of like prudish culture and sexuality. You know, you avoid it entirely.
Yeah.
Just avoid any meat whatsoever. So you understand why they're not vegetarian, because they care about animals. That is what they teach her. But really, it's to stop her from getting a bloodlust for human flesh, and apparently that being passed down throughout this whole family line from the mother now.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Because the thing is, I didn't notice, but this is something that you didn't notice. You didn't notice the father until the final shot, you know, when he was well into focus. And then when you see the father front lip, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That was
But
dreadful.
I mean, the thing is, he was there, no, but I always felt that he was just always in the background.
Right.
Like
So you
just
didn't
when
notice
things
what
were
was
going
going
on.
on.
Yeah, exactly. He was just
You didn't notice,
kinda
because he's always,
there.
and he was almost always out of focus too.
Yes.
You notice that, right?
Yeah.
He was almost always out of focus. You never noticed either that or something was blocking his face. He's always smoking. He was doing something. And then when you see his
All
front
right.
face.
Yes.
Yes,
That's a
that's
good
what.
point.
That's because like, wait, I didn't notice this until the end though. Like then when you
That
see
is
what
cool.
going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, good point there, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The movie is I hated the ending personally though.
I'll
because
talk about the ending.
yeah, it resolved. I find it resolved itself too quickly. It didn't make much sense, and I thought it would have gone somewhere else with it in terms of the material. And I thought it resolved itself in a real lame way, and so it didn't have the workable emotional payoff that I thought it should have.
Right.
So that was why I was a little underwhelmed by that ended. So I just gonna it had nothing much to talk about with that because I just want to give my rating soon. But you go through.
All right. So we'll touch on that ending. I'll start off with the ending actually. Right.
Right.
I agree with you. They could have tweaked that ending just a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I get that the last shot is supposed to be the the final
No,
gasp before,
that-
and I mean like visually it works. Trust me,
Right.
it works.
That no, and I because I kind of guess what was going on, especially involving the car crash as a part of the car crash.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of pieced together what was going on because the way they was talking to each other, she was talking about what was going on. It's like, yeah, but that means something.
Yeah.
This older than we thought it was.
Exactly. This
right,
goes way far. Way
Right.
deep, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, and I kind of guess, I was like, well, if this is the case, then somebody else. All right. And I kind of pieced together what was going down.
Yeah.
And then I was immediately thought of Elle with Isabel Huppert.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go ahead.
Right. So the thing with me with this though, with the way how it ends now, it's almost like this is how it is.
Right.
And you just had to deal with it somehow. That's all I'll say in regards to the ending.
Yeah.
And I get well, okay, like visually the ending works. Like it's just that last that last shock basically before we get to the credits.
Yeah.
But the line that's being delivered though, it's kind of ambiguous in a way, so it's almost like we don't really know how we're gonna rectify this, but this is just how it is,
Right. But I just also hated how they dealt with his sister.
I
that
do
didn't
agree.
make much sense
We
to me.
won't
I
say
thought-
what happens there, but essentially,
Right.
something happens to her, and it's just like, okay, well, that's it.
Right.
That's
And I thought
how we had to
just
deal with
like,
it.
oh, that's the reason, and it didn't make any sense. It was a cool reveal, but I thought they would have gone further with it. And I was worried about that because it reached a certain point, and I was watching the time graph. And like, wait, the movie going to end just now? Because it's a short movie. Surprisingly short movie. It's only 90 minutes or so.
Roughly 95. Well, including
Right.
credits around that time.
Yeah, a little around 90 minutes or so. And I was like, okay, I thought this would have been resolving itself or building up to something better. And it didn't really go anywhere in that sense.
Yeah.
It's just a final reveal, and that was it. It's a little anticlimactic, but that is European cinema for you.
Yeah, well, that's the word, the anticlimactic.
Yeah, a little bit. Bit.
But on the subject of European cinema, this show is far from the Hollywood fare, but this is, and I don't know why, just like with Elle, is something about French cinema, about being so transgressive, boy, so subversive at the same time.
Yeah, in the case of Elle, it built better because Elle was, you didn't know what was going on, and then you find out. That was I find was much more disturbing in its own way, because of the implications of the situation.
Yes,
this,
exactly. But because it's because of the subject matter, you have to kind of show a lot, not so much
it
hint
felt
at.
right, and it fell a little flat for me. Yeah,
Okay.
it had good special effects and stuff and
Yeah.
makeup stuff. But overall, I was just a little like, yeah, it's shocking. But once you get past the quote unquote shock, and not that shocked by it because we watched Neon Demon the other day, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. It
So I
has.
was
I can't
right,
wait. Well, good thing that you bring up Neon Demon as well too,
right,
because to me, the real core of this movie here, like I said at the very beginning, is this coming of age story. So
right,
essentially, it's like the character of Justine being reserved, and the whole university backdrop is so perfect in terms of that.
right,
Because
right,
I could kind of relate to this as well too. When you are in this new environment and seeing all these people your age doing all these things that
right,
you're not familiar with, you're not used to, and stuff like that, whether it's drugs or sex or alcohol or whatever.
right,
And there's this great scene at the very beginning where during the hazing she finds herself at this party and she sees all this stuff going on, and that's when she runs into her sister who's already there. You know what I mean?
right,
So just imagine being in this environment for the first time, seeing all this stuff, and then throughout the story, her character itself starts to digress more and more and
right.
more before until she becomes, I don't want to say a monster, but she just becomes
That's the
something
thing.
different altogether,
Because again, it had a couple reveals involved, and I was really underwhelmed by that. I didn't
Yeah.
really get like why they would do it in like this. The story kind of fell apart for me in that way. I was not that impressed with that whole narrative pulled together, now, especially involving it had a little piece involving a morgue. Kind of underwhelming. Didn't make sense to me. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I didn't get why she would do that. Whatever.
Right. Well, as you bring up that, this to me is like the kind of the strength, but really the major flaw of this.
Right.
Now, as I said before, as I said earlier, sorry, this is not your standard Hollywood fare. Sorry.
Yeah.
So there are scenes actually like contained sequences, and they're all strung together by this kind of loose storyline, if you will.
Right.
So we're just seeing different episodes or different scenarios with this girl and her fascination, this newborn fascination with meat and flesh, if you will.
Right.
So there's these kind of moments where you would see her go through things, like case in point, the whole Brazilian wax thing.
Right.
Like, it's not the major setup of it, but it's what starts it's what kind of helps start this whole transgression of a character, basically.
Right.
But like, if you were to kind of sit back and think about it, it's like, well, wait, that was just one particular moment that led to this, and this is what the film really feels like. It feels
Right.
like a whole bunch of moments that leads to this thing. Like, case in point, there's one scene with her in a bathroom puking,
Right.
and it's disgusting. But at the same time, you watch it's like, okay, where's this going? Where's this going? Where's this
Right,
going?
yeah.
The payoff at the end where this other girl who was there, she says a line. I'm not gonna say
That
what
was
the line
funny.
is. That was funny as hell. I love that.
Yeah.
But once again, from a narrative perspective, it's like, okay, well, this happened this one day, and then this thing happens, and it just gets more and more and more bizarre. And I like that it kind of sets up this kind of unpredictability about it, because remember, it's a school scenario now, so it's like,
Right.
this one day this happened, and the next day this happened, next day. So she's kind of learning about herself during this process. She learns what she can and can't eat. She learns who she could, hang out with, or who she can't hang out with, what she could drink, and all that kind of stuff there.
Right.
So it works there, but at the same time, it's like, all right, these moments are happening, but the payoff at the very end is kind of like,
I
oh,
don't know.
that's it? Okay.
It's a little. I thought it was a generally squandered premise. I would
Well,
love to see. I'd love to see an American remake, but not some idiot American fucking it up, like somebody like David Fincher doing it.
Yeah, I think we will actually get a better narrative, like something that
Right.
progresses, not like
So I would love to
scene
see
here, this
right.
scene, and this scene, and this scene.
Because the movie not bad, but I would love to see more than likely. I swear you'll see like an American remake of this in 2 or 3 years. I want a good American director, similar to David Fincher, and say the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo now,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is one of the few examples of an American remake being better, in my opinion.
All right, if you say so. I kind of prefer the Swedish
Oh, really?
one, but that's just me.
Nah, yeah,
I
no,
just
for me,
didn't
I
like
find the American.
I did like how that film and how David Fincher's Girl with the
Right.
Dragon Tattoo ended. Something about that end just rubbed me off
Okay.
the wrong way. But anyway,
All right, okay.
but just back to this review here. So, but those moments are bizarre and weird and creepy as well, oftentimes disturbing and frightening. But it kind of comes off with like it's just these attempts at scaring you or shocking you, and for
Right.
the most part, those scenes work. Oftentimes, but sometimes they kind of come off a little artsy well, what we call
That's the thing.
arty-farty, a little
Yeah, it was a little
weird.
flat.
Sorry, not so much arty-farty, but avant-garde. It's like this one particular scene where like this latter part of the heating process, where suddenly Justine is doused with blue paint, and now
Right.
she has to make out with this guy who's in yellow. And like, okay, visually I get what they're going for. It's something kind of kinky, some kind of kind of softcore kind of thing. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's like, why? What's the point?
Right.
What is this
I
leading
try to
up
think
to?
of. There's a French film I'm trying to remember that it kind of reminds me of as
Yeah.
well. When you mention that whole artsy stuff, but it's
Yeah.
building up a narrative. I think it's what's the name of this movie, boy? 5x5 was the name of it.
I haven't seen 5x5, sorry, but I heard a lot of great things about that. To be
That's the
honest.
movie you could watch it backward or forward.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Think that was it.
Right.
Think it reminded me of that. Like
Yeah.
it just kind of it have a lot of drama involved, but everybody just playing it like kind of deadpan
Yeah.
and straightforward and flat. That's what the whole thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, and yes, there were a couple of scenes that similar to like Neon Demon, for example. I wasn't sure if they were dream or reality. Have a kind of
Right.
weird dream-like kind of thing. Where case in point, where
She was in a
Justine
club.
is
Sprawl out.
right. There's that scene where she sprawl out. She's into the music.
Yeah.
Seeing people
Which was
making out
funny,
and
yeah.
stuff. It's kind of weird, but like I liked it from this is the dark side of her. Okay, but the way how it was shot, the way how the camera movement was, because like slow mo, but like not slow mo. It just zooming in slowly. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, is this real? Is this all in the head or not? But the scene I was thinking about is where she was underneath her covers, and then
Right. You're wondering
it's
she
almost
getting-
like it's somebody hitting her over the body now.
Right.
I'm
I
like,
couldn't.
is this real? Is this
Right.
part of the healing process? I don't know, because it just comes out of the blue now, you know what I mean?
Right.
What else? I thought that the performances were great as well. The girl who plays Justine, I thought she knocked it out of the park. She was great. And
Yeah.
seeing
Paul
her,
Dano twin sister.
yeah, Paul Dano twin sister, and seeing how her character develops from this kind of naive individual to just being so dark and dreary was amazing, Well, yes, this is one scene that to me did not work. Okay, yes, there are a few scenes that are just there to kind of be kinky, to be kind of pushing that envelope now. But to me,
Right.
this one scene didn't work. Is where she was listening to this awful horrorcore rap song with these girls singing,
Yeah.
and she just by in front of the mirror with your lipstick on,
Right,
and she
yeah.
kissing the mirror.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I
that-
get
all of that-
it looks sexy.
All of that was
I
character
get that.
building stuff.
I
All of that
get,
was
but-
character building stuff that made sense to me.
Yeah, but what? and then
It's
it
so
just
dutish.
goes to this next scene. I'm like, okay, what was the point of that scene? And why had the scene linger on for long? Why did I have to hear this dumb rap song? Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, you're right. It is character development. We've seen her character get darker.
Yeah. But the
But
character
still
just
it's
a,
like,
no, but the character just a goddamn dork now.
yeah. Well, yes, that would hint to that as well.
Yeah.
But similar to L, boy, something about French cinema, boy. It's
Yeah, that's-
always this need to be so transgressive, boy. If it's whether it's dialogue that's just so racy and so
Right.
kind of explicit as well.
Yeah.
Like this one scene, like they were having lunch and they were talking about, where it is raping a monkey or something. So if that,
Right. No.
if
Yeah.
that
All of
counts
that
as
was
rape,
that was the part. That was the conversation I was talking about earlier.
yeah.
And the friends laugh at her. Yeah.
It's
let's talk
like
about-
so like real like is you could tell they're real trying to break boundaries with this. They're
Right.
trying to be so edgy with it with the source material now. But I find that oftentimes they go. I won't say they go too far. I mean, it is what it is. But oftentimes they get too wrapped up in trying to be
Right.
transgressive that they kind of forget the story or what the point
Right.
is. It's always about trying to shock the viewer, whether it's dialogue or whether it's a scene of violence or something that's
Yeah.
grotesque happening, and less on what the story is about. But
Yeah,
but
we can wrap
overall
up-
at the end, it is a very provocative kind of coming of age story.
Right.
It could have been better, honestly, but it's just so provocative that, yeah, I kind of see myself probably watching this over again, maybe to see something that I missed out, something that kind of flew past my head. And of course, oh yes, I forgot to mention the musical score when it's used is excellent. It has this kind of creepy kind of 70s Gaio kind of sound to it, though. It sounds really, 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 really creepy, and it works when it's used there. There are some other songs, some French songs here or there. When they use, they actually work. But overall, that score that they use, they really set up this dark tone. The performances were great. The story is kind of so-so, but it's not traditional narrative.
Right.
I know some people get turned off by it, and people might just think, oh well, this is just an excuse to throw all these shocking imagery and scenes down my throat, and it has no point to it. But I think if you're digging deep and really watch it carefully, you will pick up on something. And it's not like this one main point, like, yes, this is how life is, and we all have to grow up, and we all have to be our own person. That's just the surface layer, but there's other deep things going on. And even though it does not end the way how you would expect it, you may either like or hate the end, and I was just kind of neutral by it. But just that last shot alone was like, all right, okay, I see where you're coming from. But other than that, though,
that's pretty much it.
for me though, if just jumping into ratings, I would give this a decent 3.5 out of 5 stars, man. I think this is one you should give this one a look. This is a film that, trust me, you will remember in some way, shape, or form. And now having seen it, I understand why people are already putting it in the best of 2017 list. Because I'm sorry, once you see the show, whether you forget half of or whether you didn't care about the story or you don't care about the characters, there's something in this show that will creep you out. There's something that you will walk out with.
It is a little too dependent on the shock value stuff.
I would agree with you,
I'm gonna give it a low movie tongue.
Right.
It was good, but
I thought you were going to say a gemstone, so people come and buy the food and the wine.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
you had to show it there, but it's not worth that kind of money. That's the kind of problem.
All right,
so,
I agree with you. Yeah.
Right, in that time, and so but I thought it was fine. The movie I was trying to remember is 5x2. That is the movie I was trying to remember.
5x2. Okay.
5x2. That is the movie I was trying to remember. Not 5x5. I don't know where I got 5x5 from. I think that's a joke.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay.
I don't know. This was a little underwhelming for me, but it was still decent. I don't know. They could have do one more pass of the script to make it a little better, but it felt a little too anticlimactic for me.
Yeah.
Mostly because of just character motivations. All the stuff didn't make sense and didn't really work or flow for me at a certain point in the story. I thought they would have built it up better now. But no. Anyway.
Last thing before we close things off here with regards to with Raw, the gay character I felt the way how he was developed was kind of underwhelming in my opinion. Like, I see what you're trying to get at, where not so much he was just there, but it's something that was going on inside of him where he was kind of struggling with his sexuality. But the way how they kind of dealt with it, it kind of felt like, okay, we just kind of need a reason for his character and another character to kind of hook up, and then when it happens, it's like, all right, and then another shock value thing happens. But the way how his character arc ends was like, okay.
Yeah, all that was part of it. All that is part of it.
Right, okay.
All that is part of it that didn't make sense to me.
But what was the point? Rushed. Exactly.
Little too rushed didn't make sense, I'll say. However.
And you're right with the motivations. Like, I know he was struggling with stuff, but what was his motivation? Why did he do the things that he did? Was it because of the script or because he was fascinated with that character? But whatever. So for me, 3.5 out of 5. If you're adventurous, if you're curious, give it a look. Forget those stupid claims about, oh, it'll make you vomit and stuff. Unless you have unless you could like easily be spooked, or you just have a weak stomach, then but I just end things off here. I was eating while I was watching this show. I just challenged myself. I say, okay, this show, I want to see if this show can really make me puke. And apart from that toilet bowl scene, nothing else really.
It was fine.
All right, so now you'll get to the moment that you guys have been waiting for. War for the Planet of the Apes.
Right, so we had to go through a big run through the franchise. We never really talk about this franchise in its whole run through, so in its entirety. So I just wanted to go a quick run through.
Yeah, please do.
The first Planet of the Apes. Well,
the 1968 version. The 1968 one, of course.
Right. The original book was by Pierre Boulle, I think.
Yeah, Pierre Boulle.
Yeah. and the story is totally different from what they did with. Well, we'll get into that later. But yeah, the original Planet of the Apes was for me kind of a classic. I really liked it. It was one of those in a big overall pop culture frame. It was one of the big twist ending movies.
Yes, yes, of course.
It was
once you see that ending, folks, you will not forget this. You will never
it was like,
forget that.
It's like what 4 or 5 big movies like that. It's like that. Probably the End of Crying Game. Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Sixth Sense is another one like that. I'll probably say Luke, I Am Your Father. Well, that's not the actual term, but you know what I'm talking about. And probably Rosebud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like Rosebud, Citizen Kane, Sled, right?
Right.
So
yes. Duh. Right.
It's one of those really big popular things. The movie was great in my opinion. I was one of those I went into it blind. Like, so, a lot of people who never see Planet of the Apes probably just know the end of Planet of the Apes and never see it. But it's a movie I saw blind. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't piece together what the hell was going on. I didn't have anything about that. It didn't make and then to see how it built itself. And it was always like a subtext for, the then really controversial debate of creation and evolution. And then what they do with that in terms of subversion of the story. And then just general science versus religion. I like that whole aspect of it. And then the finale was a big kick in the nuts to Charlton Heston's character, because his character and the whole franchise is kind of like this. Is this really misanthropic narrative? And Charlton Heston's character is like that in the beginning in particular. He's this big misanthrope, and they go into space and they go into basically, I don't know, some alien planet or something, not expecting what went down in the end. And then he kind of had to fight during the movie. He had to fight for humanity, and then the ending of the movie just totally validated his initial position. So it kind of come full circle, and really unfortunate.
Well, for me, what I like about that movie itself, for me, in terms of just sci-fi movies of the 60s and 70s, just how creative and inventive they were. These were things that you've never seen before on screen, right? Whether it's some kind of dystopian story like Soylent Green, which also starred Charlton Heston, by the way, or this movie here. Like, I've never seen talking apes and these humans who are captive and all that kind of stuff.
That's the thing. It's really like a lot of it is really like, well, we were getting to the sequel, and the sequel, which is Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, which I would say this one time. Believe it or not, I have never seen the other sequels. I've seen pieces of it, but I haven't seen any of them.
No, Beneath the Planet of the Apes is a terrible movie. Like, just a hot garbage movie. It's really, really bad. It's cheap. It's really, really cheap, like Star Trek cheap.
Oh, so it's just a pathetic attempt at just cashing in on the success of the last
a little bit. It was exactly like why. Well, it's not the worst of the movies, but it is a really bad movie. It is just a kind of pointless sequel in many ways. Charlton Heston wanted to kill his character off, which is exactly what they do. And basically, the first film was like a classic, really, really well done film.
Yeah.
Great acting. I forget the main actor's name. They changed the actor for playing Cornelius. I forget who's the actor for Cornelius and Zero.
Right.
But with this, it was just so stupid. None of it made sense. With the second one, I think it was starring James Franciscus, if I remember correctly. The big reason why they got him is that he looked a lot like Charlton Heston himself.
Oh, okay.
And he was the kind of the main side. He's playing Brent, which is another astronaut. And a lot of it didn't make sense, because even by its own internal science, like, why they send somebody else to chase after them? That didn't make any sense. Because apparently the ship didn't come back, but according to the rules, they're not supposed to come back. Whatever. The story, it was, that second movie goes on where, the first one was about, them not figuring out what's going on with the apes, and they learned to have this ape story.
Right.
And the second one, you learn that it had a bunch of scientists, and they started to worship the last bomb on Earth. And,
okay.
Well, because, the end of the first film is the Statue of Liberty, New York had to be close by.
Yes.
So it's all occurring under New York. And then the apes invade because, humans still alive, and there's a bunch of smart humans. And then in the end, Charlton Heston's character presses a bomb and it blew up the world, because it's the last bomb.
Right.
To kill everybody.
And it ends like that because
that's the ending.
It's
and that's not the final
film.
and it's not the ending of the franchise, because the third film, which is a really good film in my opinion, Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
All right.
This is where Zero and Cornelius they go into Brent's ship, right?
Uh-huh.
And they apparently escape. And then the bomb, wherever the bomb is, apparently instead of sending them forward in time, because that's how apparently relativism works, they go back in time
Okay.
to our well then 1970 something. What it was, 1971? I think that film came out.
Yes.
This movie was like a kind of a comedy, and it was really like weird and dark in its own way, because now they find out, well, humans way more advanced than us. Like that was the big reveal in the first film. Oh, the end of the first film has something in it that's pretty goddamn awesome. That is the final speech by Caesar, but I want to talk about that with this current film.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this third film is about Zero and Cornelius going back in time. But remember, they were engaged, right?
Right.
And what they learn is that the humans learn that, well, this is kind of inevitable. We're going on with the apes, and well, Zero would be the equivalent of like a kind of war criminal almost, because she was just basically she wasn't like a particularly humane scientist for the humans in her time. So if they find out what she was doing, and they kind of kept that on the down low. Eventually, they kind of believed the ape story of the future and how apes take over, and then they started hunting them down for some reason. Instead of just like believing them, they decided to hunt them down instead of like taking information about the future and seeing if they could change it. But this is like before quantum mechanics, so time travel science fiction was like, well, kind of almost fatalistic, and they can't change anything. The attitude was, well, they hunt them down and the government ended up killing all three of them. But at the time, Zero was pregnant. So, and, well, they decided to name the child Caesar, because Caesar was their great, this great ape who was the starter of their civilization.
Right.
And apparently it's the Caesar itself, because of the time travel, so it's a big time travel loop shenanigans. So it's a wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey thing going on. And what happened at the end, though, is they kill all three, but what they did was they switch a circus chimp with the real Caesar. That was the ending. Okay. That was a big reveal.
Right.
And the person who's the circus guy is Ricardo Montalban. Yeah.
Holy
Khan.
shit, really?
yeah. Khan was in these movies, and he took care of Caesar. And then the fourth film, which I thought was pretty goddamn awesome, which was Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. So in the fourth film, now you're starting to see the little DNA of why the scripts of the new films work. Because the fourth film that is when they bring in the virus thing, but the virus wasn't to kill humans. What happened is that the virus was killing pretty much every like four-legged animal, almost all other mammals on the planet. This virus killed off, and it was implied that it was brought back by astronauts from the future. That was like the big conspiracy. But the government covered it up, and basically all dogs and cats died. So they decided to have pets as apes. But the apes became this underclass slave race, and what it was doing was looking for the ape who said no, right? Because that was the legend of the time of Zero and Cornelius in the future, right?
Right.
Because he was the great ape who said no for the first time, which is a big callback to Rise of the Planet of the Apes, because you see the DNA of all the stuff in the script. Mm-hmm. And so what they were doing, the government, was they had they had a big under slave race as the apes, and they were kind of hunting down this ape who could talk. Say, look, if it have an ape who could talk, it'll be that guy. He's the leader. Kill him. But what happens is Ricardo Montalban's character kept him under wraps for years, and then shenanigans ensue, and he get escaping and getting roped in, and then he's the one who kind of leads the apes into this big violent clash. And well, it's a really well-meaning political metaphor. But it was basically like an analogy for the Black Power movement, because
well, that's surprised actually, considering when it came out.
But that's the thing, is that it's really kind of problematic now, obviously, because like you're doing the Black Power movement thing, but the whole thing is gorillas. So it's like you're kind of making the equivalency of black people and chimpanzees, or black people and apes kind of thing.
Yeah.
A whole problematic paradigm on its own, and then. But the whole thing, if you watch Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and especially the big riot sequences, it looks almost like shot for shot, because they kind of intentionally did this shot for shot for the Watts riots at the time.
Oh, okay. So I imagine hoses and dogs and stuff, right?
Yeah. Like look it up. It's like throwing televisions in windows and shit like that.
Right.
And that film, what they did, I think if I remember correctly, they changed the ending of the film, because I forget the actual speech itself, but the ending for the film is this real, like, militant. Caesar is like, we're going to treat them horribly, and it's, our our time now, and it's the Planet of the Apes, and that was the ending.
Right.
And it was like most darkest, most nihilistic ending ever, because basically the implication is that Caesar's just gonna like straight up exterminate all the humans in the story. And again, if you're doing the allegory, it's like, well, is black people taking over and going to kill off all them white men, right?
Of course, and that's the last thing you want black viewers to hear in a cinema
They
before they riot.
couldn't do that, and basically the studio's like, all right, well, we tell you what you want to do, but you gave us this. So they basically changed the ending, and they made it more like in line with the narrative of the future. So the implication is that Caesar say, well, we're going to be more humane than you, and we're going to just treat it like a slave race kind of thing instead of wiping you out entirely.
Right.
They made it a little cleaner, right? So I thought Conquest was actually pretty badass. Then they decided to do Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Colossal waste of time. I mean, this was a complete shit show of a sequel. Didn't need to be made.
And the last one, of course, for that this particular franchise, right?
This is terrible. It didn't work at all. It was just like, it just looked so goddamn cheap. I think they just shoot it in the back of like one of the creators. They ranch essentially. It just looked terrible. It didn't work at all. Again, much like with Star Trek, with Star Trek they would just drive out 20 minutes in Pasadena and shoot in some rock quarry.
Yeah.
That is basically what it is. It was that. It was really bad. For a big time movie, you're not supposed to have that. I think it only cost like $1 million, but it made decent money.
I'm reading 1.2 million. Jeez, way.
Yeah. Even for that time,
that's sad, dog. That's sad.
Even for that time, it was bad, but it still made decent money. For its time, it just had the franchise name. And because of this film, it kind of killed the franchise. The franchise went on ice for a while. Yeah. That animated series.
I actually remember watching that at a point in time, Return of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I remember watching a few episodes of that.
Yeah, the animated series wasn't half bad. It was about as good as the Star Trek animated series. If you could do a quick reference point for that. Just this kind of shitty Hanna-Barbera style.
Yeah, that Hanna-Barbera style kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. Just that. And it didn't work. I forget who the animation team was. I think it was Hanna-Barbera. I think so.
Right.
But that's pretty much it. And then roughly 26 years passed.
Yes.
And Tim Burton decided to come on. Now, remember I tell it have 4 or 5 films.
Oh, right. Yeah, 4 or 5 films that you generally hated.
Yeah.
And you walked out of it like...
Yeah, and when the movie ended, it's like, what the fuck was that? That bullshit.
Right.
It was Spider-Man 3, Batman v Superman, Star Trek Nemesis. And this is one of them.
No. One thing I should make a point of, right? Now, it's funny that this movie came out in 2001, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny because back in 1968 is when 2001: A Space Odyssey came out.
Yeah.
Remember the creature designs for the apes, how they looked like real apes?
Yeah. Right.
Right. And that's what I love that they brought across in the rebooted franchise.
Yeah, what is hilarious about, like, especially with the whole thing is that the 60s just had such a weird vision of the future as well. It was such a narcissistic vision of the future. Everything is just going to be space, that thing.
Yeah.
Space hippies, space bell bottoms,
Yeah.
Dumb bullshit like that.
And
well, in the case of Conquest and
or whatever,
yeah,
like Logan's Run.
Right.
Yeah.
In the case of like Conquest, it was the distant future of 1991. It's like, oh wow. But the thing is, it was kind of brutal, the descent, because when was the Rodney King trial? 1992.
Well, 91 to 92. Yeah.
Right.
No, sorry. The event took place in 91, and then 92 is when the court. Well, that's where the court trial came to.
The LA riots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, oh shit! It ended up just played out 1-to-1.
And they didn't even know that. But of course, yeah.
And it all stuff like that, it just crack me up because you just get a reference. This is long before the internet, so I couldn't like put memes now. Now we can like make the comparisons easily.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of it, just then to jump to Tim Burton's film, yeah, a lot of it just didn't work. Now a lot of it did work. The costumes look great.
Yeah, the makeup and the costume design were on point. At least the movement for the most part looked good.
Yeah, the movie did well at the box office. But from what I understand, it had a bad shooting schedule. It just was like a really tough shoot, and everybody was having a kind of bad time on set in terms of like just production value. And then I think at the time, this is when I think Tim Burton left Lisa Marie for Helena Bonham Carter at the time.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
it had that drama to it. So it was just a
yes,
big
and on the
emotion.
subject of Helena, that Michael Jackson
Yeah, the
makeup
Michael
thing that
Jackson
going
look.
on with her.
But I used to think like she was looking so much like Michael Jackson. You wonder like Lisa Marie was what? What going on here?
Like
You wonder if that was
going on?
intentional now. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever. No,
I
the
don't
movie
know,
was
but talking about that though, the cast, boy, how they were wasted.
yeah,
Even
no,
right
the
down to
movie.
Marky Mark, boy, like,
Yeah, that's the thing. It
bro,
was
come
the
on.
script was complete rubbish. It didn't work.
It was, and
They
of
had
course
Charlton
that
Heston.
ending.
Charlton Heston was in the movie.
Yes, and
and
he
it
did
was
that
so stupid.
And how
And yet
why they had to have him say, "Get off me,
Damn
damn
humans.
to the ape." Well, sorry,
Yeah.
damn to the humans.
Damn, the was like, what the fuck?
What?
It was so dumb. And then the ending was the most. I mean, what
Yeah,
a
that
kick in
ending
the
though.
nuts.
Oh my
What
god.
a kick in the sack that ending was. Holy
Oh my
fuck,
God.
that pissed me off. Because what pissed me off about it that you'll have some like I remember some jackass was like I forget who I was arguing with, but I remember I was like 17 at the time, and I was like, it's some idiot was like, well, it's closer to the book, no. I'm like, no, motherfucker, the book was like so much smarter than that. The book was clever. It did it material, and then the whole story was told from the standpoint of the apes because they found out what was going on, and then that was like they didn't even believe the story. So it was so much smarter than what Tim Burton decided to do.
Dude, Tim Burton decided to do a Twilight Zone ending. That's what he did. He did a
nonsense
Twilight
and
Zone
it
ending.
fucking
So
sense,
it's best that it was in black and white A and Rod, so they come and say,
Stupidness.
so this is like the fifth dimension of the Twilight Zone, or whatever it is.
Nothing
Like,
about
come
it made
on,
sense.
come on.
The ending was where Marky Mark comes back and he crashed into Washington D.C. and it's looking identical to Washington D.C. but everything is apes. So he walk up to the Lincoln Memorial and
instead of Lincoln,
it's
it's
Tim
an
Roth.
ape. Yeah,
It's
General
I'm
T,
like,
right?
what the fuck? Nothing about that makes sense. So what? It had a ape civil war that played itself out the exact same way to them to make the statue the same way. I mean, it's so goddamn stupid that ending was. That just pissed
they
me
could have
off.
just figured out, like, think about the logic behind that now. But
Think
you could
about
tell
that
that they just want to have some kind of big shocking ending.
Big shock ending.
And
Stupid.
they just feel miserably.
That was utter foolishness.
The music was alright, like from what I remember, it was kind of memorable. The kind of jungle noise music basically that they used.
Yeah.
But just the talent that was wasted by
Total wrong.
Forrest Whitaker, Steve Buscemi, Tim Roth,
Yeah.
who I thought was he looked the part. He had a kind of snarl
this
that
guy,
he was doing.
Rhino and Spider-Man, who are a big actor. Shit.
Oh, sorry, Paul Giamatti. I confused
Paul
him with
Giamatti,
Steve
wasn't that?
Buscemi.
Yeah.
It's Paul Giamatti. Yeah.
Paul Giamatti. Yeah.
Right.
I
And
like-
of course, Helena Bonham Carter and
she
that
was-
MJ
yeah.
makeup.
The movie was a hot
Lord.
mess.
It was a hot
It
mess.
was a hot mess. Didn't work.
I forgot about it when I saw it in cinema. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's how they got it ended? All right, yes.
I was one of those pissed off because again I'm invested in the franchise, so I really
Right,
thought,
yeah.
and it looked good. At the time it was like because the trailer looked great, and I was like, yeah, I'm a big Tim Burton person. I was like, yeah, the guy who did Batman, great, because before that, it's like, wait, he shouldn't have ever leave Batman. Oh, great, he's going to do Planet of the Apes, and Planet of the Apes is a big classic, sci-fi franchise. You're gonna update it in an intelligent way and make it work. Fuck no, fuck
Yeah,
stop.
no. Oh, I
Total
think it's Michael Clark Duncan. I confused
Michael
him
Clark
with,
Duncan, yeah.
with
Clark
Forrest
was in it.
Whitaker. Yeah, he was in that. Right.
Michael Clark Duncan was in that, yeah. I was just so disappointed in that movie. It was, again, because I'm a big fan of the franchise. The thing is, it was decent sci-fi stuff before Star Wars because it was really cutting edge ideas, all the time travel stuff and all the weird, nuclear technology and what that means. And it had a lot of political subtext. It always had a ton of political subtext, Cold War. It was a lot of anti-nuclear stuff, civil rights stuff at the time. It was really, really shocking stuff in terms of being political. And at the time that mattered in the 60s because it was, Martin Luther King and, people was getting shot at the time and all that stuff. So, by the time the 70s roll around, the dream died and it was more darker, black power stuff, and so it was interesting to see that. Anywho.
Yeah, so cut to 10 years later.
And it was just pissed me off. So jump into, 11 years past, 10 years
Well,
past?
10 years actually.
Years past.
And we got Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
And
which was one of my favorite, one of my top 10 favorite movies of that year.
I didn't love it, but I thought it was solid. I thought it was pretty damn good. I thought they did a good job with Caesar. And then they did the No Thing, which was a pretty awesome movie.
No! They did
and
that.
Like, oh, and I immediately was like, oh shit, they called it. It had a ton of callbacks because in the beginning of this movie, it had a reference to the space shuttle.
Well,
Icarus.
I think it's like midway into the story because like
Yeah.
it's just one clip with just
Yeah.
a space shuttle going up,
Yeah.
and you would
Icarus.
ignore that if you
Icarus.
weren't familiar with the original movies. But if you look close, like, oh, okay, I like that. Yeah, cool.
It's the same space shuttle.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, so they're making a reference to that, and you're wondering if it's like a prequel or if it's a reboot. Well, it's kind of rebootish because it's not nuclear war this time; it's just a virus. That's the whole point.
Yes.
And
that whole virus thing, I like how they played it out, especially at the very end where it's like we almost forgot about it. Then we had that little post-credit scene before the credits roll out. That was
right.
That was great.
And but what they do with it was cool, is right. And what they do with it,
and also too, sorry to cut today, but because I watched it actually a few days before watching War, is how they build up on that virus thing though. It's like almost if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have figured out that John Lithgow's character has it, and that's how it spread,
Right, and they had a kind of nice series of unfortunate events going throughout the entire series. Caesar's talk, when Caesar spoke to James Franco's character at the end, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was.
The action sequence was pretty badass, especially that part
where third act though, where the apes just running wild through the streets.
Badass.
Awesome. I love that.
Especially when the whole crew was like coming up on the trolley.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was badass. It was great. I enjoyed it. But what they did with the virus thing, which was much smarter, because in the original, they just had the nuclear war thing, and then it's implied, well, the nuclear war stuff made the apes intelligent, which just kind of didn't make any sense from a kind of scientific plausibility standpoint. So this one was a little more had better verisimilitude when it comes to the science in fiction. Biology in fiction is tough to do, right? But I like what they did with it by making it a virus. I like that. Then as I said, the ending sequence with David Hewlett's character, he's Rodney McKay from Stargate, if anybody would know. That's all I knew him from. Right. But he was the pilot, and you find out he was a pilot. I'm like, oh shit. So he just fly over the world and spread the virus to pretty much everywhere.
Oh yes, yes. Well, sorry, I was confusing that guy. I keep confusing actors for some reason. No, I was confusing him with John Lithgow, who was playing John Lithgow's father, right?
Yeah, right. He was the father.
So he was the genesis of this whole pretty much this medicine thing that was supposed to cure his Alzheimer's, but that just caused this virus because it kind of mutated with ape blood, basically.
In Caesar.
Yeah, from Caesar, yeah.
Right. That's pretty much that. So it was great. Yeah. Loved it. Then they decided to just do this badass sequel to this movie.
Yes, boy. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Which
so basically they follow
was
up
my top 10 for 2014.
Yeah, they just follow up with the villain from in part 1 is this character who was introduced, a character called Koba.
Koba, yeah. Who was just introduced quite briefly, by the way.
Yeah.
He was just there for about 2 scenes really, and then he just left. Then
they move on to the character being kind of really central and in the second film. And they do this great arc with Caesar versus Koba, and just the idea of revenge and darkness. And they make that totally work.
Just the infighting between these this band of apes who just want to be free from human control. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I thought this was so great. It was solid action, solid
cinematography
movie.
was excellent. Gary Oldman played a great villain, and I like that there was some motivation to him. Really,
I can really say he was a villain per se.
Antagonist, I guess, whatever.
A little bit, but really it was Koba. Like because what Koba do and how he get paranoid because of that, because he didn't know how things would play out. And it was a simple plot. I'll say the only big flaw in the movie, but it was done intentionally, is the idea of they made the humans way too goddamn bland in this.
Right. I mean, they were there. They didn't.
Kerry Russell was in this, right?
Yes, she was in that.
Yeah. And they made the humans way too bland, but I think that was intentional. The idea was to make you focus on them apes, and you have to care about the apes. They focus on the characters. Caesar has a family now.
Yeah.
They made it work,
and he could talk more now. So he's like, apes together, strong.
Right, and they made it work. And then they had the idea of the Koba character was just the idea of, you just can't let go of your anger and revenge and that kind of stuff now. And yes,
and your inner nature. At the end of the day, he is an animal. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing, is that the movie does a good job of balancing that. Again, it's really smart choices in some ways where, he's an animal, but at the same time, he's supposed to be intelligent. So you have to more give him a sense of agency. Now, he's no more angry than a person looking for revenge. So you had to give them a personhood. And that's why the movies work. They really
agreed.
balance it well now. On the one end, they don't make them way too human. but they find I think they strike a reasonably good balance for the films. And yeah, from there we could just jump to the third film and this movie.
Yeah. So let me just do like a brief rundown about War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
So 15 years have passed since the events of Rise.
Yeah.
So we get that in this really clever opening text that opens the film.
Yeah. Because you're right. Because between Rise and Dawn, it's 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah. It have these quick. Well, a quick aside, just 2 seconds. If you're going to DVD for Dawn, I think you could find these 3 short films that branches the timeline. They're not long. They're not very important in terms of the apes, but the idea is just to show how the world break down now.
Right.
How life break down for these people, and
I would love to check those out though. Like but
there's this one kick-ass story called the story of the gun. But basically, because of the simian flu, it's basically a Mad Max scenario start playing out for humanity. So things just get real bad, and it's a rough situation. Yeah, go ahead.
Right, okay. Right, so the apes are still in the woods. They still create this society and stuff. Caesar is talking more fluently now, but they still communicate through through sign language here.
Right.
And we have this military faction known as Alpha Omega, and they just essentially just trying to hunt Caesar down just based off of the events, the outcome of Dawn, basically. And because of that, Caesar really feels the need of leaving this forest and going someplace else. And when his son returns from traveling, or at least looking for a new home, he reveals that, yes, there's this new place, this paradise, if you will, that we should go to. But the problem is that we have to get through all these soldiers that, essentially hunting us down. So Caesar, being the guy that he is, and because he's so conflicted of what happened in the past, of course, with Koba's betrayal and stuff like that, he's like, he does not want the rest of his peers, of his family, to be in danger, because actually before he actually makes the decision to leave, there is this attack that takes place, and that's where he runs into Woody Harrelson's character, who's only known as a colonel.
Yeah.
And that attack ends kind of tragically for Caesar. That's all I'll say about that. But just off of that, and from the demons that's still in his head, right? Because of what happened with Koba, he's doubtful, he's wary, because he's been fighting with the humans for so much years now, and he just wants to see an end to this. So he just decides, I'm just gonna go my way. I'm gonna go for the colonel. I'm gonna make him pay for what he did. But you guys, on the other hand, go to find this utopia. Sorry, this paradise. While Caesar goes on this journey, his longtime comrade Maurice is there.
Yeah.
Another character is there. They run into this little girl. We'll talk about the little girl in a bit. Who is revealed to be suffering from the same virus, believe it or not, that we were introduced to in Rise. So this virus now has evolved to the point that it kind of makes the human less human, actually. So they're a little bit more ape-like, if you will. They can't speak anymore. That's a nice little cue there. And Caesar's like, she's a human. She could betray us or lead, get somebody who could kill us. But because he kind of sees something in her, and because of Maurice beckoning, they take her on, and it's just essentially them just trying to meet up with the others. And then from there, the colonel runs into them, and then we learn about this big kind of concentration camp where the apes are, and they're not just prisoners, but they're working for the colonel to build this wall, because there's this like war going on between the Alpha Omega and the rest of the US. The US military itself. They kind of see him as being this madman, if you will. Similar to Apocalypse Now, but I'll talk about that in a bit. And it's just this fight between the two of them, and of course the apes are right in the middle, and Caesar, with his conflicts and all, has to step up and be the leader, and hopefully bring this war to an end. And that's all I have to say in terms of synopsis. So I'm gonna talk a great deal about this, but Ricardo, I just want to hear your thoughts on this. Start praising.
Here's the thing. I thought it was kind of brilliant, but here's the thing. It have a bunch of problems in the main plot itself. Now, from a pure visual storytelling, like the first hour of this movie is really good. Like, really goddamn amazing for me.
Yes.
First hour. And then they introduced a character. Now, the character himself was not a particularly bad character or anything like that, but the movie started to kind of shallow down at that point. The actual narrative itself.
You didn't like that character? Okay.
No, I liked the character was okay. It's not like I hated the character or anything like that. They introduced the character more or less on the hour mark. Because I was checking my watch at that point.
Right.
And I was like, all right, they introduced this character. I just checked my watch. And I was like, okay, it almost on the perfect beat. I didn't really hate the character, but the movie started to delve out
in
ways I didn't like.
Down a bit. All right.
Right. And in terms of pure visual storytelling, I thought it was fine. It was going greater. Like that first hour in particular, great.
Yes, right.
Love it. Simply gorgeous cinematography, and especially those early shots. I mean, it had pretty much for me, it was like almost all of those, there's a bunch of 4K desktop backgrounds.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Some great shots,
especially
like on the beach and thing.
The beach scenes, oh my God, yes.
The actual narrative itself, while still somewhat solid, problem is that it's some thematic and emotional pace in this use for me. And it had a few emotionally contrived moments for me overall, which I really didn't care for. But it didn't break down the movie because they could still defend what they do with it. So you want to get into spoilers or not?
We could get into a couple of spoilers, I guess. I don't see why not.
Right.
So yes, folks, you've been warned. We're gonna get into a little bit of spoilers here. A little bit.
It instead of being war, it ended up being Ape Escape. You know what Ape Escape is? It's an old video game.
Actually, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah.
But had I known, I would have been like, yeah, this is
right.
clear. Yeah.
And that a lot of that could have worked. It has made some sense. I get what they're trying to do with it with the plot. And then the relationship with the Colonel and Caesar, I liked. With that. But then the big finale with what happened to the Colonel and what Caesar was going for in the ending, I thought that was good as well. That actually caught me off guard, even though I kind of saw it coming to a certain extent. And then the ending I really didn't care for because that was some, I'm going to straight up say it, I think that was some Jonathan Kenton Man of Steel nonsense. It didn't need to happen. I didn't get why the character did it, but I didn't really care for that ending personally. I didn't hate it, but it needed to earn it. And that was the problem. The movie, it felt slow and felt rushed at the same time. Some of the emotional moments and payoff is like, yeah, but you just jump to this point in the edit now.
Yeah,
why does he do this? So they had a part where Caesar meet back the children for the first time and they had a big Apes loot part. And then he had a part with the working part, like, don't, leave him alone. And it's like, well, they just rushed to that part because you put the gun to your head for the, and then I forget the character's name. I think her name is Zero, I think.
What do you mean?
Which female ape? The female ape.
Okay.
She started back to work again. I was like, well, that kind of rush though. They could have paced out some of these scenes a little better. The final scene with the warfare was pretty decent. I thought I like that. I like what they did with that. But then that character with a bow and arrow. He's a crossbow he had.
Right.
He didn't really have an arc at the end. I thought they would have given you a better arc. They didn't really do anything with that. But I still liked it. In fact, I still really liked it.
Okay.
Overall. But again, I don't want to say too much spoilers, but I just couldn't. It doesn't pace itself with it. So I'm a little bit disappointed.
All right. I understand where you're all coming from here.
Right. And then what I thought is that we would have gotten the big speech that, remember, in the original Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston, you remember the final speech that Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas told Cornelius to read, right?
Yes, yeah.
Look up that scene. You can find it on YouTube. I think I forget what it is in the Ape Bible basically, and it's like scripture now.
Right.
I thought we would have gotten something like that speech in the movie, but I suppose that'd be a little too on the nose.
And then you have to think about which character would say that.
No, it would be Caesar. Like Caesar's supposed to say it. That's the whole point. Is Caesar?
But is it like a long speech? It's
a pretty long speech, basically describing man. It's the most misanthropic, cynical, goddamn speech about humanity.
Right, but then think about Caesar himself. Remember, he's talking, yes, but it's not like long paragraphs. It's just short sentences,
that's
right?
The thing. That's the thing. I thought they would have like made it where Caesar gets more, more like coherent over time now. So I thought they would have do that. And then it had a bunch of other little inconsistencies. Like sometimes you see the characters, they're talking to each other in sign language, but yet one of the characters looking away but still understanding. It's like, wait, how is sign language working exactly?
Okay. I thought you were going to say sign language and then somebody talks. Okay, they do that.
That's another thing too. That's another thing too. Like sometimes they sign.
I just kind of brush it off. Like, you know what? It's a film. You know,
Right.
it's kind of like
I don't
when
really
somebody
mind.
talks one language and then they respond in English. I just let that slide. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like that.
yeah, but I want nitpick. I don't have an issue with that. So there's a couple of issues. I don't really hate it in that sense. And then again, certain character motivations, again, because they had the pacing issues now. It just pay itself off kind of poorly. That's my issue with it. They really hurt the movie all that much because it really had this filmmakers for film student kind of approach to filmmaking.
Right.
You know, it's just shots and visual filmmaking, but you should have focused on that instead of trying to mix it. You know, Matt Reeves, that's I think what the problem was is that you try to do a purely visual film, and from a raw visual standpoint, it works. But he tried to do a classical story. They tried to just do the normal 3-act structure, and then that didn't gel together very well with his visual style. So it had, and a lot of it felt like a kind of Cecil B. DeMille kind of approach into, especially the ending, and the shot to the top, and they had a big tilting shot at the end into the sunset and so on. So right, and the music score. So it felt like an old school kind of film in that way. So a lot of that was great, but then they decided a lot of weaker parts of it. And I can imagine some people really hating this movie, but I can imagine some people really loving this movie. I fall at the end of loving this movie. A lot of the good outweighs most of the bad.
Right. Well, so glad to hear that though, because I thought you were gonna be like, it was alright, but
no. It was actually I actually really like this movie. Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, so I do understand those flaws that you mentioned there. They make sense. Now here's the thing with me, right? I went in with somewhat high expectations for this show, and I came out of it with those expectations met though.
Okay.
I on the side of loving this film. I really, really, really love this movie. I would say it's a perfect movie though. There are a couple of flaws in it, but a few things though. One thing that surprised me was since we're still on spoilers here, the trailers themselves are misleading.
Yes.
They're quite misleading.
Marketing for this,
because
holy shit, the marketing for this is misleading.
Yeah, because they present this impression that okay, Caesar is the one who's going to go right up in front of these humans, knock on the door and say, hey, we're ready for war.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. It is not like that at all.
Yeah, it's really misleading, true.
Yeah. So on the subject of that, with the title War itself, you were good point that you made that okay, it's not so much like war itself, but
in fact it's so misleading. It reminds me of Lost City as Z.
Oh right.
In that way?
Yeah, but
it was like
says all of that.
You're expecting this thing and you end up getting this real somber. Look, I was expecting this amazing adventure film, and we end up just getting this somber British biopic.
Yeah.
And the same thing. It was like, oh, I expecting this amazing like epic thing, and it's like, no, we didn't get there was just this, somber character moments.
Right. Well.
Character building.
Yeah. Well. Here's my argument with that. Right. So, yes, anybody going into this thing is gonna expect tons of action and explosions and stuff, and there is action. Don't get me wrong, there is action, especially the first and the third acts, right? Yeah, that opening sequence alone, though, wow, that was badass. Right? That was badass, right? But look at that word itself, war, and it's when I really started to think about it. When I saw these scenes in the story, when I saw the narrative really play out, that's when it started to make sense exactly what they meant by that word itself. It's not so much just this battle between apes and humans. I mean, that's just surface level stuff. But to me, what really stood out the most to me with this is that just like classic war movies of the past, it reminds you just how ugly and brutal war is in general. You know what I mean? And one thing though, just from a narrative perspective, even right out of visual, I love the callbacks to classic war films. I did not see this coming though, but like I saw shots, I was like, all right, this is like the Colonel, for example. This is straight up Marlon Brando's Colonel Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. You know, that one renegade colonel that is a threat not just to to the military, but to the ideal of what America is. So you have to kill him, terminate with extreme prejudice, that kind of thing. And just the way how he's introduced, that scene with him shaving his hair was kind of reminiscent of that shot in Apocalypse Now, where Marlon Brando is like washing his head. His head is
Yeah.
already shaved, so he's just kind of wiping his head with this wet hand of his now. I was like, all right, I like that. Even right down to a point where they had Ape Apocalypse Now, and I was like, yes,
That's a little on the nose. Yeah,
a little on the nose, but I like that. I was
Yeah.
wondering because in Apocalypse Now there is this one shot where you see graffiti, like a guy
Yeah.
wrote Apocalypse Now, and that's the first time, actually only time in the movie, credits included, where you see the title of the actual movie,
Yeah.
right?
And they had similar transitions as well. That slow fade transition.
Yes.
They had a lot of those. Yeah.
I also saw Bridge on the River Kwai, kids' actual
Right.
parents. You know,
Yep.
when that, spoiler alert, that wall blows up, it reminds me of that. I saw, like, you know, some Vietnam War kind of allusions, like, you know, Full Metal Jacket, the way how they would write, you know, words on the helmet. So you have Monkey Killer on one of the helmets
Yeah.
of one of the soldiers. That was cool.
The thing is, we already made all these jokes with Kong earlier this year now.
Yeah.
So
And on the
that-
subject of Kong, yes,
Right.
they do mention Kong. I love the fact, like, when I heard it for the first time, right?
Donkey.
Donkey. I was like,
Yes.
Donkey Kong, get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. Donkey's referring to,
The
I
little
don't want to call them the
underling-
sellouts, but
Right.
yeah, they are the help, actually. They are the field apes, if you will, who
Yeah.
have to assist the humans in getting guns and all
And
that
a
kind
lot of
stuff
them,
there.
yeah, and
The
a lot of them
slaves,
were the reason they were like that is they were loyal to Koba.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the Cobra, the Cobra
Group. Yeah.
supporters basically.
Right. And they were driven
yeah,
out. Yeah.
were driven out, and you know they work for Alpha Omega, because it's either that or they go back, where they you know they go back to Caesar and, you know,
Yeah.
face imprisonment or worse, you know. But this movie really showed, in its own way, with this war between apes and humans, just the horrors of war itself. And it just really that fact just crystallized for me when we got to that prison sequence. You know, I didn't see that prison sequence coming. Like when I watched the trailers again after seeing the movie, I saw pieces of that. I saw like little shots of that, right? But I didn't think that was going to be like the centerpiece of the whole movie. But like when you saw that there, and you know, instantly that reminded me of, like, say, Schindler's List. It is something like right out of the Holocaust. Just these prisoners there, and they have to work, and, you know, they're being tortured and stuff like that. I was like, yes, boy, this is exactly what war is. This is exactly what a movie called War for the Planet of the Apes should be when you think about it. Not just one group against another group, but just really the pain and the, you know, the brutality of it all, man. I was really surprised, and I actually praised this film actually for having the balls to actually show that, you know. There were scenes with Caesar being, you know, tortured and all that kind of stuff, other apes being tortured. I mean, they don't go too far with it, of course. I mean, it's PG-13. But just the fact that they were willing to stop the show to kind of really highlight that, yeah, this thing is serious, you know. And then the subject of the humans too. I mean, it's not like you're seeing a lot of humans dying as well, but you do have shots of those. And then also when you're bringing the whole thing about the virus, and then with that great little expositional scene between Caesar and the Colonel, that's when you really understand that this is not just an ape thing, this is a human thing too. You know, if these humans die from this illness, then it will literally be, like, as you say in the trailer, a planet of apes.
Yeah.
So in terms of just the Colonel, it gave him this a little bit more. It gave him an extra layer of development here. I thought he was just going to be this arbitrary bad guy who just loved to, you know,
I thought he would be a
torture
straightforward
apes
psycho.
because
And when they do it, it was great. Like, especially when they gave the character pathos, and then when what they do to resolve his character is like, oh, okay, that's real bad.
How they do that was, I once again did not expect that, and it was really amazing, really dramatic as well too. And yes, as I say, dramatic. This show is heavy, really heavy on drama. It may turn off some people who might go in expecting that, you know, tons of action and apes just doing ape stuff and blowing stuff up and stuff, but it's not like that. It's really more. It's actually the most dramatic of the trilogy, and I think that it works in terms of, you know, just it being the end of this trilogy here. I think it works. Andy Serkis, yo.
Yeah.
I don't know, Academy, please nominate this man. Two
but
movies
he
and
could,
he has
he
killed
could,
it, but in this one,
he could get it.
my
Yeah,
God, boy,
he could get it for this.
yeah,
Because
he is Caesar.
if anything, this movie might get for best cinematography. I just was blown away by some of these
I'll
shots.
talk about
but,
the cinematography too, yeah, but
yeah,
just to talk about
but
Andy
Circus might
Serkis.
get through. Yeah,
And he, for the first time, is the star of this movie here. Well, I can't really say like for Dawn. I think Dawn, the cast was still roughly the main characters were roughly the humans, even though they were put to the side, of course, because it was about Caesar and his story. But yes, he, as an Andy Serkis, is the star of this show, and he shines every time he is on screen as Caesar. The fact that they just gave him words to, dialogue to say, and the way how he delivers it, delivers them. Sorry, just the mannerisms in his his mouth and his face.
they completely they
And it
to me
works.
they crack. Yeah, and to me they kind of crack that code with respect to what we call the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
They get the eyes right. In fact, he look like a better actor than how he is in freaking real world shit. No.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Freaking like what he is in the Marvel movies.
In Black Panther coming soon.
Yeah, in the Marvel movies, it's like,
Right.
yeah, I'm more convinced with him here. That.
Yeah. I love the characterization that they gave to him, that yes, he would be conflicted inside because of what happened, not just with the incident with the colonel, which I won't spoil,
Yeah.
but what happened in the previous film with Koba and his
Yeah.
betrayal.
I actually like that they do that. Yeah, because what the implication was is that, oh shit, Koba might be right after all.
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
Maybe,
It's like,
maybe we just peace
the
doesn't make any sense anymore. Maybe
Right.
that's the overall point. Like we
Yeah.
just is either we kill them or they kill us.
Right.
That's how it is, And I love that complexity in that character alone, But this, on the subject of visual effects, for the ape designs themselves, this is like close to perfect to me. This is the
Right.
best in terms of how these apes look compared to how they look like in the first film, where in retrospect when you look at like Caesar and stuff, it kind of doesn't look all that, it doesn't hold up that much. But with Dawn it got better, and then with this one here, yeah, 10 out of 10 in terms of visual effects way. They got the apes down right, and from what I've heard, actually they actually added real apes into this movie as well. And
Really?
the way how they integrated into the visuals in this film, you wouldn't even know which is which.
Right.
And that just tells a lot, shows a lot. So Weta Studio, who has been behind this trilogy from Rise to now, them need to win a Oscar just in terms of visual effects alone, because they just killed it here. But this is
Yeah.
like the best visuals I've seen in a Planet of the Apes movie. Well, in terms of this reboot, I've actually, in all the movies, this is the best visual effects I've ever seen from them. Cinematography, wow. Like I said before, I have these 4K desktop shots here, but I was like, yes, this is a wallpaper shot. The beat sequences look beautiful. The
Yeah.
snow sequences, the snow-capped mountainous scenes look gorgeous. You know what I mean? This is a beautiful looking movie. Yes, the subject matter is grim, but yes, overall from start to end, this is a visually gorgeous movie. The music by Michael Giacchino, who
Yeah.
did he did music for Dawn, and I love the score for Dawn. But in this one, excellent score. This
Yeah.
added so much in terms of just setting up this tone, and just setting up this whole feel of, these apes moving away from the forest and going into, this new society, or starting their new society, this new world, if you will, And I like how the music kind of sets that up. What else I could say, boy? Just the references to war films, and just the fact that the film was so brave to touch on war itself and how ugly and brutal and sad it is. I thought that was a good choice in terms of the narrative itself. I thought that the script itself was well written. The pacing, there were a couple of issues here or there. You are right though, especially when they bring in that new character. He's the comic relief. He's called Bad Ape.
Yeah.
At first I thought like he was going to be just this whole comic relief thing, and he's just gonna drop jokes when
I thought
it
he was
needs
gonna
to
be.
be
No,
serious.
I was worried.
but-
I was worried he was gonna get a Jar Jar Binks kind of situation.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
all are, But Steve Zahn plays him, and
Right.
I thought that just visually and just the narrative, the way how that character talked and acted was excellent. He grew on me, actually. I should say that. And when they need humor he's always there to kind of drop it. Or
Yeah,
somebody else
and it
is
works
there.
for the most part.
It
Yeah.
works for the most part, but it's not like, okay, we need to drop humor when things are being serious. And when we say serious, yes, things get serious here. This is war in every sense of the word. People die, apes die, and it's never like a glorious thing, you know what I mean? It shows it for how ugly it is. I mean, we're not talking about Mel Gibson Hacksaw Ridge level, but you know, in terms of just this franchise, it's pretty grim, it's pretty dark. And because it's the last part of this trilogy, if you will, I think it works perfectly. That final action sequence in particular stands out to me just with those moments. Just from a visual perspective, really worked for me. If I have just one tiny little nitpick, is that I felt I mean, yes, it is your final chapter in this trilogy, and yes, they harkening back to old war films and stuff, and yes, it's supposed to be epic, and it is, and it's supposed to be grandiose, and it is, and it's supposed to be like, yes, this is the final, this is the end, this is the last stand, and all that kind of stuff. It does tend to fall into certain conventions and tropes,
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, I've seen this before, but now we've seen it here with Apes. Okay, I see what you're getting at, but it's kind of like, we really need that. Like, case in point, the ending in particular. Like, I get the ending. I understand why it ends the way how it ends.
As I say, I thought that was some.
Like, I thought that was some. That by, come on.
No, I thought that was some Jonathan Kent foolishness.
Yeah, like from Man of Steel. Like it's dramatic already, but let's just make it so dramatic that it kind of borders on sappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit.
Not too sappy, of course, but like when that moment happens, it's like, all right, I get, but you're just leaning it a little too thick. Just a little too thick, you know what I mean? But, and I'll just jump to ratings here one time. But for me, though, I have to agree with the majority of the critics here. This is hands down one of the best movies of 2017. This is the best of all of this trilogy, hands down. They ended it off on such a great note, on such an epic note, I must say. This is probably one of the best trequels I've ever seen, like ever in film. And this will go down in history as one of the best trequels ever made. And I will say in terms, and I will argue in terms of trilogies, this will go down as one of the best, man. Just from what they established in terms of rise and how they just built up on it and got better and better. And oh yes, and I forgot to mention too, how they pay tribute in these subtle ways to the old films as well, especially the first film, like right down to the character of the little girl who at first I thought wasn't gonna work as well because she was gonna be mute and she might do much, but there's like this particular scene where she does something so kind to Caesar, and this is Caesar at his lowest dread, and then she comes and does this thing. It's just so heartwarming. It's
which leads to the big ending to it.
Yes, it does, right there. And then her name as well, which I won't spoil, harkens back to the old film as well. That's all I will say about that. Just those little cues, just the fact that we are building on something. It's not like it was just two movies and then you have these other films that just didn't work. You could tell that Matt Reeves and the writers and everybody were just building on this well-established franchise, you know what I mean? A franchise that is still beloved, even though, like you said, that last film, Conquest, didn't work out. There's still fans out there that love the original franchise. Still love the original movies, I should say. And just the fact that this new trilogy, even from Rise till now, was still able to just pay tribute to that is really amazing. I love that. Apart from the whole, conventional tropes and stuff that you've seen before in other blockbuster movies, I still enjoy this movie a lot. I would say this is probably like in my top 5 right now. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to say this right now. This right now at the moment is in my number 1 spot in terms of best movie of the year. I kind of rooted for either Dunkirk or Blade Runner 2049 to kind of push this down to number 2. But at the moment, guys, this is my number 1, so I'm just going to say
Yeah, I don't think Blade Runner gonna do that much. I think Dunkirk might be solid.
Yeah,
Uh,
because it's Nolan and all, I kind of hoping that Nolan makes it to my number one. But right now, guys, this is my number one favorite
right.
movie of the year. I give this a strong 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is one of the best movies of the year. Definitely see this. And I would just say this before we get to your rating. Please check out the previous movies, not just not just to refresh your memory on what happened.
Yeah.
And I actually recommend that you do, because there are some things that happened in the previous films that come back in this one here. And if you haven't seen the previous films, or haven't seen them in a long while, these moments may slip past you. But I think that if you just watch the previous films and see the progression of the story, because yes, it is Caesar's story, and seeing how it starts and where it ends though is amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
strong 4.5 out of 5 stars. Right now, this is the best movie of 2017. Go see this as soon as you can.
Yeah, I'll say the first hour of this, I would probably rate that first hour like a high IMAX, or really highest IMAXs. Um, and then the rest of the film will probably be a low IMAX to high movie tongue, because of the structure, and they kind of flop some of the little issues with the script itself. So it'll kind of square off for some of that, and I'll just give it an IMAX.
All right, fair enough.
A lot of this worked for me. Most of it worked. At the supposed downsides, I didn't have an issue with. I just thought so much of the visual. I'll say, if anything, you should stick to the visual storytelling and heavily rely on that instead of too much exposition on trying to tell this normal story.
Okay.
But that's about it. I just really like this movie. A lot of it worked for me. Almost all of it worked for me. I had a ton of fun with it. Yeah, IMAX.
Yeah. All right, and just one last thing I want to say in closing. Folks, this is how you do a movie based on non-human characters. This is not Transformers, where you have to put the emphasis on the humans, even right down to the fifth movie, which I still hate, and I think is going to be the number one worst movie of the year for me. But just the fact that they were brave enough, at least the directors, the writers, they were brave enough to make this film about the apes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make it work. That is just nothing short of amazing. You feel so much for these apes, even though they're not real. You know what I mean? So yeah, not much more I could say about that. But yes, folks, best movie of the year in my opinion. I think if Dunkirk, or I guess Blade Runner 2049 doesn't be this one, then by the end of this year you will hear me say War for the Planet of the Apes is the best movie of 2017.
Yeah.
All right, so Ricardo, where can we find you online, man?
Well, sadly, we have to, before we go, one last piece of real sad news. Just found out the death of Martin Landau.
You're serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious now?
Yeah, Martin Landau. Yeah, Grim Reaper, on active duty nowadays.
Wow, boy.
Yeah, Martin Landau died 89, so yeah.
Yeah, and as I am Trini, I have to mention this, the untimely passing of Devon Matthews,
Right.
soca performer, DJ as well too. He works Red 96.7
Right.
down here in Trinidad. He passed away after a performance last night. Well, last night time of this recording here. So yeah, he will be missed as well too. But now I hear about Martin Landau, I honestly can't believe this here. Like you just got that news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. That's crazy, boy. That's real crazy.
Right.
But okay. All right, now we had to get back on track. So Ricardo, where can we find you online, man?
Yeah, Passat RMEDY, that is at RMEDY, at RMEDY on Twitter. And then you can type in my name, Ricardo Medina, on Facebook.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter as well. Just look for Legally Black MGB. You could also find me on Facebook. Just look for my name, Matthew Bailey, alongside a Legally Black blog official fan base, where you'll find a link to this podcast here, as well as the others as we've done before, and my written reviews that I've done in the past.
Yeah.
So, in closing, stuff to look forward to. The Beguiled, which I am really excited for. I can't wait to see what Sofia Coppola, does with this film, with her remake essentially of the 1971 film of the same name, which starred Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't wait to see what she does here. Also, the week after that, next week I should say, Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Yes. Which probably might be the last big IMAX movie that I'll be checking out for this summer here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Dark Tower is coming out in IMAX. I kind of doubt it. And
Right.
after that, yeah,
Bullshit.
things are. I would say that, but things are gonna be really, really.
No,
slow,
actually, going to have a movie with a piece of shit in it. That's
which
coming.
is
The Emoji Movie.
yes,
bullshit.
yes, yes,
Bullshit
yes.
coming.
Which I
Yeah.
still don't care to see. I
And
don't
then,
know,
well,
maybe I just had to
big,
hear
well,
reviews.
I saying big time local movie pushing. So
Yes, the big time local movie because
Yeah,
IMAX needs something to show. Just saying, IMAX, you all need something to show. So yeah, we getting Cutlass. It's coming out Wednesday, August 2nd. I am gonna do a video review of it for my What's the Scene show. But I guess we could talk about it. Let's see why not. I know you have your 2 cents to give on not just this movie here, but I guess with the local film industry here. So
Yeah.
I guess if you want to have a war of words, you could talk about that. Just saying, don't be surprised if somebody send you some death threats online. You know what I mean? What else? There's the Dark Tower, which looks pretty good, and the Hitman's Bodyguard, which
right, I'm pretty excited for that.
excited for that. Although the trailers kind of bore me now. Not bore,
Well,
but just
I don't watch
sense
them too much, so I don't know.
seen, well, this one trailer that always shows every time I go to cinema. So
Right.
I'm kind of getting fed up of seeing it now. It's getting less interesting now the more I see this trailer here. So I'm hoping that the movie lives up to the hype because yes, you have Samuel Jackson and Ryan Reynolds, right? So what's the worst that could happen? We'll
Yeah.
see. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, sorry we had to kind of end this on a sour note, but yeah, boy, 3 people, and I just gained news
because
in one day dying. boy,
earlier
that's
earlier
crazy.
this week a famous mathematician died, which was really depressing to me. That was Miriam Manakazi, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she died as well. So it's like, oh jeez, man. She's like probably the first female to win basically the Nobel Prize for mathematics. Well, the
Yeah.
equivalent of the Nobel Prize for mathematics from Iran. So that was just goddamn disappointing.
Right. Yes. So once again, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. This was Matthew Bailey
Ricardo Medina.
and we are signing off from another episode of Bears, Beats, and Bailey. So until the next one, take care. Peace.
Peace.
Later.
All right.